Hello there.
You don't listen, do you?
I'm Pickle Rick!
You have failed this city. I can do this all day.
This is the way.
Welcome to the first episode of Venting Views. I'm Josh.
And I'm Pat.
We're going to be talking about Crisis. Now, very controversial, topic, but, nonetheless, let's continue.
So, chronologically, episode 1.
Yeah, that was an interesting episode. I think it was Supergirl, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It first starts off with just a bunch of awesome cameos that I thought that was...
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. Oh, this as soon as it starts off, it's like, it gives me kind of Infinity kind of War. You know when that scene with Wong in Doctor Strange, how he explains the Infinity Stones as like, this stone is from space. This kind of got the vibe with how you can hear the monitor's narration at the start and then it moves straight onto the cameos. I thought that got...
It puts like how important this is going to be because it shows you all these things.
Yeah. I think it's definitely interesting. I think we start off with the first cameo, which I just thought was cool. Like, it was interesting. But Alexander Knox from Michael Keaton's Batman, and I love how they did Earth 89, which is just like sick. Yeah, it's just awesome. And I think what was interesting about it is I don't know if you kind of noticed, but I thought, and I might be completely wrong here, but I believe that Batman wasn't Michael Keaton's Batman. I felt like the symbol. I think if you see the symbol originally, I felt like it was Batman Beyond symbol. It kind of looks like, if you look at I know it was red skies and stuff at the time, but I felt like the design of it looked more Batman Beyond, which is just pretty cool to see like where their Batman has kind of changed since then, because the newspaper kind of read Batman captures Joker, I think it was.
Even though if you watch the movies, Joker died.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a little few,
so
like the camera was cool.
That's true. That's true.
But
I didn't think
few
about
little things that don't make sense, like if it is that Batman, that Joker died.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I didn't think
that
about
doesn't
that.
make sense. And also the symbol, the symbol is the Batwoman symbol. Like if you look at it, it's the Batwoman symbol. So then maybe it's copyright issues. They couldn't get They couldn't use the Batman symbol from the movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a little CW.
Yeah, because
things.
he's like I hope you're listening, big guy or something like that. Yeah. Next cameo, I thought it was really cool to see Titans, Hank and
Robin?
Robin, that's it. Jason Todd, that's the character. I thought it was really cool to see him, because seeing both of them together, especially if you know the Titans timeline, where Jason Todd's Robin he just disappears and he's kind of like disbanded from the Titans. Just kind of cool to see where they were. And this definitely takes place before him kind of abandoning them. And the next one was a bit confusing. I thought they showed the Ray on Earth X. I thought he'd be like, seeing how integral he was in the last crossover, I thought they were going to use him massively, given how really like powerful he is.
Well, how they set things up.
Yeah.
In the last ones.
Yeah.
And then he got a 3-second cameo.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, I think it's good. But I think what did the icing on the cake was Earth 66, which is literally Adam West's Batman, and obviously Burt Ward's Dick Grayson walking on the streets with Bathound. I just think it's just surreal seeing something like that. And he says, his iconic line, "Holy Crimson, skis of death," and I think it's just really cool to see something like that. Yeah.
That's why they put it in there.
Yeah,
So
I think there's a lot of fan service though. I think we'll talk about this, throughout the whole entire thing.
I think that's what the CW strikes for.
Yeah.
They go for what people can enjoy.
Yeah,
and
I don't think they stress too much on the storyline here.
I'd say that.
Anyway, it's I feel like they kept going with those cameos, not just throughout the start and the finish, but if we just go and move on to how it started, we start with Will Wheaton, the Star Trek enthusiast, Star Trek actor actually. He acting as a civilian on Earth 38, which is Kara's Earth.
Yep.
And what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that?
To be honest, I didn't know him,
Yeah,
but still cool.
yeah.
And I know that reference of him holding the sign was from the Superman movie. Can't remember exactly which one, because it was in one of them. Someone's holding the exact poster.
Was it Doomsday, or was it maybe just a different one? I'm just thinking, End of the World or something. I don't know. I might be wrong.
So that was kind of cool. But if you didn't watch Supergirl, the whole part with that scene and the dragon that comes in, people were just looking and going,
that was...
what the hell? See, I've watched Supergirl, so I understood that it was a pet
was
dragon, but little things like that.
Was it from It was from Supergirl? Was it from Legends? Or...
No, it was from Supergirl.
Yeah. In
one of the episodes, it was just like a dragon that is an alien that can...
That was usually looks like a lizard or something like that. Yeah. I thought
and when it gets scared, it turns into a dragon, so that's why it was a dragon. It was...
So it gets scared and then it just changes.
I get it. It's a Supergirl episode, so you put a Supergirl story in, but for a good amount of the viewing that wouldn't have watched that, it would just go, what the hell is going on? Yeah. But
I think it's just, more, fan service, trying to, I guess, pique everyone's interest across all platforms. I mean, we start with Supergirl, and there's already all these things that not one single person would probably, understand just from watching one show. There's so many different other shows. But moving on to the story, what do you think about how it kind of starts off? I mean, the gathering of heroes. I think it's.
I didn't mind it. It flowed well. It didn't feel rushed, but it moved along pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But I get they brought them all together to save Earth 38, Kara's Earth.
Yeah.
But they didn't bring everyone. Why bring some, not all?
Yeah.
And
if someone's Earth is in dire need of help, why wouldn't you gather every single resource to the point? I mean, we'll get to that at the end about how practically sacrifice was such a huge
it's just been,
catalyst, especially for the first episode. But anyway,
I gotta say though, when they were doing all the little things, when they were bringing the characters, and they did the Superman, Earth 38 Superman.
Oh yeah,
with the Lois Lane, and they were on the.
Oh, was it on Krypton? Or no, it wasn't. It was
no.
It was on the
God, sounds bad. Don't know. That planet they were on. Yeah, I actually didn't mind that because it was obviously it was similar things to how Superman's origins with him getting sent off in the pod. I liked that. I didn't mind that.
Yeah,
I actually don't mind
to try replicating that.
The actor of Lois Lane, this Lois Lane, I actually don't mind it.
Yeah,
I don't know. For me, she has. I don't know. She's just good acting.
I think Lois has changed over many different shows, and I felt like there was a lot of times where she hadn't had that prominent role of, it was. I think with this one, especially with the new show coming out, she's got such a, big role with how she plays Superman. It's more of a partnership than it is, a damsel in distress. I feel like that's completely different.
Definitely with the times.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't mind it, especially with. He's an alright Superman. I'm
yeah.
gonna say more about that.
I think he's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I was bit picky on when they all teamed up they show up on Earth 38, and Batwoman gets pulled into it because she's a CW show, so she has to be in it, even though sometimes it doesn't make fully sense because she doesn't really have a lot. Yeah. But when she punched Lila or Harbinger straight in the face, I was like, God damn!
She doesn't care.
Yeah, I get it. It's her. That's her.
That's her persona.
That's her persona, and they're really pushing hard on that. Yeah. But I was just like, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She did. I don't think she's. I feel like we haven't got much character development of. I mean, unless you're a really strong, avid fan of Batwoman, I don't think you can really understand her story. I just don't think anyone really grasp what she's about.
If you haven't watched the show, you'd probably look at it and go, I've watched the show. Well, a couple episodes so far, but
out of context, it's just a bit
I was just like, whoa. But then I guess they're really trying to push because they can't get Batman in the CW. It's just too much work. So they're obviously pushing. This is their Batman, and that's how Batman would be.
Yeah,
and she's very much by herself, strong. So I got that.
Yeah.
I
think it's just really interesting to see how the kind of show has changed, especially with the crossovers over these years. We started with Flash and Arrow like originally, and I felt like it's just taken a different path in terms of how big it is in terms of the scale. There's so many things that they've done, but story wise, I think it's just it's lacked that that extra, I don't know, tenacity. I think is probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah, like it's hard to compare because like this it's so different. There's a lot less money putting into a television show compared to the movies, i.e. with Marvel, and how they set the foundations for Thanos coming in a long time ago. I thought like if this is what their type of level is at, like you'd think they would put the Anti-Monitor that set that a long time ago, but they only said it like 2 crossovers ago. They mentioned it. Yeah, something's coming. Like so. Like, I get it in that sense, but...
and that's the thing, with the Monitor, I think they had to put him in place, but I felt like the villain was so kept under wraps with how powerful or who this person really is.
Yeah,
because
really underplayed him.
Yeah. So I felt like we didn't get much development of how dangerous or, how powerful he was. And all of a sudden there's this guy called the Anti-Monitor, and, he's going to bring... death and destruction amongst all these Earths. And I don't think it has that Thanos vibe, which is just frustrating because they've been building it for a while, but they should have mentioned this.
I think it's because we compare it to that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were aiming for it, but I think that's what we, as the audience, think. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I think there's a lot of expectation now, especially with shows. Like, you've got shows like The Mandalorian that keeps it simple. With their plot line. I think simple just always goes best. But I think it's definitely different. Just brings in a new audience with the way that they conduct their, fandom. Granted that it's not as strong as it once was, especially with like Arrow. But I think that there's still a lot of potential with all these new shows coming.
Yeah. I've got to say though, like, speaking of Arrow, like, the one thing I did enjoy in this episode was definitely Sarah and Oliver's interaction. I know it was limited, but I still just enjoy those two always on screen because
just get like nostalgia.
They're the ones that started it all, and they obviously do say that, and they try to really force that, but like it's just good to see them, and they're good. They both act well off each other. Like, sometimes in the CW, for me, you can see where some actors work well and some actors don't.
I agree with that. I think the character interactions were really cool. Just to see, that's what I think we live for just in terms of any superhero, just seeing like people meet and seeing how they interact. We never imagine what it would be like if this person met this person. And it's just really cool to see the interaction on screen going, okay, yeah, this is normal, or this is not how I would like it. But everyone compares it to comic book. I think that's what we compare to comic book knowledge compared to how they try to surprise us with this whole crossover, and they kept it really under wraps with how the plot was gonna go.
People have high expectations because that's just how it is, but they delivered it in most parts. Like, I actually enjoyed the crossover for most of it. Some parts really got me annoyed. After rewatching it, I did feel a little bit different, but just being a little bit nitpicky on some of the small things, like, especially in the first episode. Yeah. Because that's what we're talking about. The first episode, like, when they were fighting, they just make Supergirl... I get it. Like, Supergirl has this show. So they put her at the front. But they make Earth 38, like, her Superman look so weak compared to him. And like, even when Baby John is gone... Yeah. And he's down in the dumps, and he's just like, that's what Superman isn't like that. Like, Superman is hopeful, and they just push that on Kara. And she's like, we'll find them and have hope. And like, how do you have hope in this dark time and all this stuff? I don't know. That's been real nitpicky, but they really put his character down to boost up Kara even more. And I just like, Superman is not like that. He's
What do you think of this Paragon thing? Do you think this has just come out of nowhere with this whole Paragon ideology? Is this come in this episode, or was this in the next episode?
I think it's in the second one.
Yeah.
But they created it. Like, that wasn't a part of the comic book.
Yeah.
They didn't... That wasn't anything from in the comic books. Like, there was no paragons or anything. That's something they introduced. But I also think it's more also a CW thing. Like, you saw the people who were paragons, you could really question.
Yeah.
There was better options.
Yeah.
In this whole
100%.
universe, there is a lot better options for love, for courage. Destiny was pretty good. Like, some of them, like, if you went and looked through all of them, there's definitely better options. But obviously they've picked them for, like, certain reasons, like Batwoman. Batwoman only got picked because I feel like she does. She's definitely got courage, but she got picked because she has a show and she needs to be relevant.
That's right.
So she gets put in there.
Yeah.
Like, at the end, like...
Just to have those paragons for, like, 7 paragons for 7 different shows or something. Like, not realistically speaking, but just to have those people from different... Like, they had Sarah Lance... was Sarah Lance Destiny, right? They had her because she was Legends of Tomorrow. They had Batwoman because she was Courage. And what I didn't understand...
I think it's a mixed match of everything like that. Yeah.
But what I didn't understand is why that guy was chosen. He was brought in. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll get into that shortly. But I want to talk about... I think this episode really highlights Oliver's death. I mean, how we were just all really
I didn't
shocked.
think it was going to happen in the first
100%.
episode.
Yeah.
I was like, is that it? Like, we're one episode in and he's done. Like, I knew he was done. Because Arrow was no longer continuing, so you've got to put the 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
But, I was like... What?
I honestly felt...
It was frustrating.
It was frustrating, but it's also anticlimactic. I felt like this had all been building up to this really, like, amazing... Like, I thought he was gonna... I know this sounds really childish, but I thought the last thing he would do was shoot his bow and arrow, and that's it. He would save, but he drops the bow. It's really he saves 1 billion people. I think that's what the monitor says, that him being there, he saved... Kara's Earth was literally crumbling, and they had to, portal out of there.
Can I also say, like, I get it, like, they want to save all the people on the Earth. What about every other Earth that got wiped before then? Did they not count because they don't have a TV show?
Yeah.
Just little things like that, I'm sorry. I'm being a little picky.
Yeah, no, that's understandable.
But, I get, like, that was, like, and it put a lot of power on what he did and why he did. He saved 1 billion people's, which is what a hero does. But the way they conveyed it, I liked him. He ran out of arrows, so he put the bow down and went with his fist. But then they cut the scene.
I know.
Why do you cut the scene? That takes all emotion out of it. Like, it was emotional. Seeing Oliver dying on the couch, but seeing him laying there, like, dying, it's emotional. But you just cut before, like, we didn't even see him fighting, and they look like bloody Dementors.
I mean, that's the thing. They're questionable. Like, the villains, villain, and, like, how these are created through the anti... We can see what happens with the Pariah at the end of Flash, which leads into... this crossover. That's how it starts off. Very small scene. We get a cut scene out of each end of CW show, and he actually, when he comes back after Oliver's on that death table, he basically says, I'm sorry, I released. And they go, Wells, and he's like, no, I'm Pariah, and he's sorry because he released the Anti-Monitor, and he's like this different. I mean, I don't know. I don't really understand how
that's comic book accurate. That's what happens. Like, that character got the Anti-Monitor baited him in and got him to release him. Yeah. So, like, and then therefore he had to watch the world suffer, which is what happened. So that's accurate, but I think it's also because that character, Nash Wells, he got introduced 4 episodes before that. So
there's no continuance.
Like, people love Tom Cavanaugh because he's awesome. He's done that many versions. He's awesome.
He's brilliant.
But that character got thrown in 3 episodes ago, so it's hard to get a connection with that one.
It's hard to have an emotional attachment.
I think they banged on more. It was Tom Cavanaugh.
Yeah, but
that's what I feel like. And now, like, just hold on him. I've only met the guy 3 episodes ago.
Yeah,
but
I understand there are budget cuts. It's not like there are shows out there that have a much bigger budget, and that's why the CGI is not as good. And that's why I felt like with these, so-called Dementors, they didn't look like they
Shadow
were
demons.
shadow demons.
They call them shadow demons. In my head, I'm like, they just look Harry Potter's ripoffs.
But they don't look. Do you know what I mean? They don't look threatening. They don't look like, I'm really terrified of these people. And what really, really annoyed me was the fact that all it would take for one of those things to disappear was a punch or a kick.
It didn't look right.
No, it didn't.
Like in the first fight scene before Oliver died.
Yeah.
When Batwoman, Mia, Oliver's daughter,
Yeah.
Oliver's fighting, and the Atom, and they're just and they fly like Batwoman.
It's
Batwoman's just standing there fly kicking, and they turn into dust. Like it just doesn't look right. It doesn't. Even though like I love Arrow, he's shooting arrows at them, and they just poof to dust.
Yeah.
I'm like, wouldn't the arrow just go straight through them?
That's what I was thinking.
I was like,
yeah,
that's real nitpicky.
Yeah.
But it's just little things like that that they CW kind of just skip past, and they just go, don't worry about it.
That's
it's
right.
Comic book.
Yeah. That's the thing. We're being pedantic here, but like,
picky.
Yeah, people are going to be, they're going to view the crossover one way or another, and I just felt like the build up to Oliver's death. This was fated in, how long ago was it?
The whole season.
The whole season, but also the end of season 7, how the Monitor comes to him and he's happy with Felicity, and I just thought that it would be something that people would be a bit more emotional to. But when he was on the death bed,
He was in the bunker.
Yeah, he was in the bunker, and I didn't get that emotional. When you get that emotional appeal with Iron Man or, Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, I don't get anything from Oliver Queen. And we've been watching Arrow since it came out, 2012, and we just don't get that emotional appeal that's been going on for like 8 years, and it just doesn't really hit it where I think it would be. But I mean, they clearly wanted to do something with Arrow, and I've stressed this before in the fact that Oliver Queen can't just shoot, this amazing Thanos-like, end of world's dark side creature with a bow and arrow. I get that. I really understand that, but it doesn't make any sense for him to turn into this person. And we'll get into how he adapts into this other person and how he was.
It's more the way they did it.
Yeah, it's just
like I get it. It was only right that he was the one to do it because he started it all. It's a lot like Iron Man. He was the one at the start. He's the one that finishes it. They want to do the same thing here, but obviously they've got to do it. They've got to get him powerful because he's just a human.
Yeah, which
is what I loved about him. He was doing all this and he was just a human. Which is
why
I resided with the character so much.
Exactly.
But there's so many things wrong. Like I could go absolutely ham on this little scene where Oliver died. Like they're in the bunker for one.
Yeah.
So this is his home base.
Yeah.
Diggle's not there. His best mate's not there, which doesn't make any sense to me why he isn't. And everyone else is there, like Superman, Supergirl. I get it. Like that's the importance of those characters, like the big boys. Like, but when Diggle wasn't there and he died, like I was just.
He's been there since the start.
Yeah, and it makes me feel so bad for Diggle. Like you see later on in the last, like you feel bad. Like John is a great, David Ramsey's a great actor, and he was acting really good. Yeah, but I felt for him. I felt sorry for him. Like, it's just I
mean, in my opinion, I felt like Felicity Smoke and John Diggle's. They're both the characters should be at the forefront with Oliver. Beginning and end. In my opinion, I understand Felicity's. Situation, but I felt like he's always with him. No matter what's happened, he's always with him. He's always protecting him, always making sure he's okay. And that's what I just didn't understand with this. And it ended with Oliver's death, and I just didn't think it was good.
It just hurts because if you've watched from the start, like very early, if you've watched from season 1 and season 8, you're through, and then he's fought that many big boy villains, big threats, and a big storylines and all that stuff, and he's come through and he's survived. Yeah. For him to go out against Harry Potter looking like demons, it kind of hurts. It hurts. Like it kind of puts.
But it's insulting.
On
that's what it is.
And I get it. They do kind of salvage it with his second death, which is poor man dies twice. Like, but
I mean, he dies a completely different way to how we would think he would. But even then, that wasn't good enough. I mean, we'll get into that later.
I think it doesn't matter what they could do. They would have had to absolutely nail it out of the water, like for them to be a good death, and for us to be happy with it.
Yeah.
But one little thing, just hold on. This on the first episode, there's one more. There's a little side storyline with baby. I get his name wrong. Is it John? The baby.
What, John Diggle Jr.?
No. Superman's baby.
Oh, I can't remember his name.
It's not John. God, I should know it. Can't remember.
Yeah, what
The
happens
baby's
with
name.
him?
Remember
Yeah.
he gets sent off.
Yeah.
It was just that whole side plot in the first episode that because he got sent off.
Oh, yeah,
for the
yeah,
antimatter,
yeah, that's right.
and he got pushed to another Earth,
and they
a different
supposedly
timeline.
died. Yeah,
So
yeah.
he went to was it Earth?
I think
38.
Yeah.
He went to Earth 38 in 2040, so it was in the future. So then that's where they brought up the bunker scene again. But Sarah went, and it was Lewis Lang, which I actually enjoy her.
Yeah.
Brainiac, I don't mind him. He's not too bad of a character considering.
Yeah.
And Sarah,
Yeah.
awesome. So I was that's a good combo of characters. It works well. And they're in the bunker. I just didn't understand the whole point of it. The whole thing when they met. It's nice to see another version of Oliver, but I felt so bad for that.
Yeah.
Oliver. He had the robot arm.
Oh yeah,
the
that
Legend.
scene.
So
yeah.
it was a bit confusing because people were that's the one from Legend.
Yeah.
But it technically wasn't that one from Legend because it's a different Earth.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about Earth 1, future alternate timeline from back in Legend Season 1.
But what was the point of that scene?
Well, to get the baby back.
Yeah, but that literally felt diminishing. What was the point of that?
Yeah.
What was the point of having
More
that?
screen time for Stephen Amell, possibly?
Maybe, but I got to say that
Because he got pretty shafted pretty quickly on the first episode. But
was 2049, wasn't it? Legend 2049. His Oliver Queen, that variation.
2040 something.
Yeah. I felt like, and that was the
yeah.
first appearance of Legends of Tomorrow. I remember with the first season of Legends.
That was awesome.
That was fantastic. That was the best variation of Oliver that we saw in terms of how he would progress into this.
You hadn't seen anything like that yet.
Nah. With the beard and everything, it just looked really
And the
robotic
robot
arm.
arm,
It's just amazing.
Little things like that has always been good. But then people get confused. They think that's what's the future timeline, but it's just an alternate timeline.
Yeah.
See, people, it's hard because you got to be real.
I generally thought that Oliver Queen that they had faced it, he was going to become the new Oliver after I had watched the Oliver that had done all this die. And I thought he was going to be that
would have been
new
even
Oliver.
more disrespectful.
Yeah.
Thank God they didn't do that.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, I get it though. There was a side plot to get the baby back. Just didn't understand it. It was good acting once again.
Yeah.
Stephen Amell and Katie Lott, Sarah and Oliver, great acting again. I just found it funny when she goes, and he's got no clue. He doesn't know anything about time travel, multiverse. He's so out of it. So you feel sorry for this Oliver because he's lived a sad life, and obviously he's by himself. So
Yeah.
clearly in that timeline something went wrong. But she goes, "You're a good man on every Earth," and in my head I was like. That's funny because in Earth X he's pretty evil. Earth X Oliver's pretty evil, so he's not good on every Earth. That is real nitpicky.
Yeah,
but I was just
that's. I mean, generalizing. Basically, all of us are good.
Guy,
he's a good guy.
I just found it funny because then I think there's Earth X Oliver somewhere thinking, "Am I a joke to you? I am evil." But yeah.
But you know what I thought? I think second episode, right? Second installment of the Crisis. I think we move on.
Yeah, move along.
Part 2, I thought was interesting, especially with Lex Luthor. The cameos, again, were amazing.
Yeah, they had cameos at the start of the episode, didn't they?
Yes, they did. I thought it was fantastic. The way that they...
Was it the Huntress one?
I think it started off with the Huntress one. But I think seeing everything come together as every crossover.
No, actually, you know what? This was a good episode. It's hard because I'm trying to think back now.
Yeah.
But this was a good episode because we got Kevin Conroy as Batman.
That was,
although wasn't the best version of a Batman, it was still so good to see him in real life acting as Batman for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Grew up on his voice as Batman.
Oh, so. Exactly. Yeah. Just to have the animated voice as an actual Batman was just really
from
good.
The start, so we don't skip past things. So the first thing I remember was the whole scene where they talk. This is where the Paragons get introduced because he brought back the book of Destiny. I think
Destiny?
whatever the book is was from. They got destroyed in the other the other crossover, well, that whole scene means nothing because he just went and bought it back from the time before.
Yeah.
So he bought it back and he read that there was paragons. And then they were all standing in the line and the baby was crying and no one could... This is when they were on that alternate Wave Rider. We skipped through that. There was an alternate Wave Rider they went to, and it was a nice reference that Captain Cold was the voice of Gideon. That was nice.
That was in part 2, was it? Yeah, it was. I thought that was really cool. I think he wasn't actually in the crossover.
No,
was he? Just his voice.
His voice. So they clearly got him to come in and do a voiceover.
Yeah,
but they didn't want him. He didn't want to be on the screen.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah, probably the pay
But
cut.
Earth 99 was Gotham City's Batman. I thought, and this Batman is
Kevin Conroy
really scary. Like I got really excited about how this Batman just doesn't care. You see these. I remember this scene, and it's like these masks, I believe, in like the cabinet, and it's
his trophies.
His trophies, but they've got blood all over them. It's really like graphic in terms of how they took him out, and the way he talks about Superman and that he gave him that's how he is at the moment with his back. I think I remember his back was broken because he had a fight with Superman, and he killed Superman.
Yeah. It's references to Kingdom Come.
Oh, okay.
Because that Bruce Wayne, it wasn't because of the Superman, but that Bruce Wayne had the metal framing to keep him up because of things I haven't read enough into it. Yeah. But they've kind of put a few things and sewn it together. It did work well. Yeah. Like they're very hard referencing BVS.
Yeah.
With an alien coming from a strange world and like he's the threat and seemed like so I like that. Yeah. I like that movie, but
just see the glasses with blood was just really, in my opinion, I thought that was
I love Kevin Conroy acted amazing, and it was awesome. I wish he had a good character. It was a good Batman because that's what you want to see.
Exactly.
But he still did it. He still did an amazing job.
But he's been on a beloved, animated show since shows of the animated series Batman, Batman Beyond, Batman the Killing Joke. He's been on all these really. He's been our animated Batman voice for since the start, and I felt like it was really cool to give him that. I think it was more of a justice thing, just to give him that. He's part of the DC universe. Let's not forget about him. He's a Batman. Let's just bring him in. And I thought he hasn't got that recognition as an on-screen, live action Batman. I thought that was the only reason.
Give him the chance.
Yeah,
he was too old. Exactly. To rocket, so it worked perfectly for him to be this Batman, and it was awesome. I love that. That was good, and the way the whole thing came up for that was because he was supposed to be the Paragon, and that whole plot line, even though it works, it worked. The whole plot line was for Batwoman, and it was a bit of story arc for her and her relationship with Kara because. The CW, the way I look at it, the CW are now they're not forcing it, they're slowly working, but it's obvious for me. They're getting Kara and Batwoman, Kate, they're putting them together like Green Arrow and Flash were.
Yeah.
And they were best buds, they're having those two best buds because they're the two females.
I like that.
I don't mind it. As long as they don't force it, which they haven't been.
It's just having that Batman Superman connection because they've always been although they've had the differences.
Version of it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the closest they can get.
No, I have no objection about that. I think it's pretty cool as long as you, like you said, as long as they don't force it, make it happen like it's naturally. Then I've
last
got no problem with
crossover when they first got introduced. With her at Arkham Asylum and she found out she was a girl and she liked that it was a girl, it was a strong girl. There was another superhero. That was cool. And they've kind of followed it through and they've done well. And I'm happy to see where it goes. And the whole story after, even though we're skipping a lot through here, when Kevin Conroy dies.
Yeah.
That was a pretty average death.
Yeah.
For ways to go out, he just fell back and then started electrocuting. Spazzing a bit on the thing.
That was. I think they had to just do that because they just had to felt like that he needed to die because they needed to give.
He wanted to. He didn't care, but just that. Yeah.
It did feel a bit disjointed, but you know what I really liked? Tom Welling's appearance of Superman, which was amazing. Having Smallville himself on. And that's why I just wanted to get your opinion on what you thought about them bringing back Lex Luthor, because there was a bit of argument of having Smallville's Lex Luthor back, but he wasn't happy. I know
they asked him.
Yeah.
Rosenberg, they asked him, and he said no.
I think he was insulted about how much money he was getting paid or something.
I don't know exactly, but There's all rumors, but yeah, if Tom Welling's getting asked, he's going to get asked because they want to put them on screen.
Definitely.
But he said no. I think the CW did well to do what they could with what they could, and I liked how they went with that. He didn't have powers. One, because as much as we all want to see him with the suit on, I think it made sense for that Superman.
Yeah.
And a good storyline, as much as disappointing it is for everyone that's watched, i.e. you've watched it.
Yeah.
So you would have loved to seen it, but...
It's just the emotional attachment. It's like watching... If you watch Smallville from like, you know, I think the season, how many episodes they had for each season, he doesn't actually wear his suit to like the last episode.
They really tease it.
And that's why it's annoying to see him back and not wear his suit. And Lex Luthor comes in. First is actually, was it Kara, I think, that comes in. No, Kara, I think Lois and their own Superman.
Iris, mate. Iris.
Oh, it's Iris. Okay, so the three women, is it?
Your favourite Iris. Yeah, all right.
They come back and they basically...
put Iris in because
they basically warn
she
him.
needs to have something to do with this crossover. So they put her... And I do get it. Like
he's kept his physique, though, that Tom Welling is just... he's always looked like he's a proper big Superman. But they come in and they warn him. They're like, you need to be careful. Lex Luthor's gonna kill you. Lois just bursts out, and Lex Luthor, I'm thinking that he's gonna kill him because he goes across and he kills all these Supermans across.
Before this scene, though, obviously they were. Yeah. Supergirl, Earth 38's Lex was taking out all the supers.
I don't know how I felt about bringing him back. I mean, I like the idea. I felt
the same, but at the end they kind of revealed why.
They had to bring him back. They had to have
characters to do things and
it made Supergirl very interesting.
I actually don't mind. I don't know his name, but I know he's the actor from
2.5 Men.
2.5 Men. He looks, and I think about, oh my god, his hair. Without his hair, he doesn't look like him. But I don't mind him.
Yeah, no, he's a good Lex Luthor. I mean,
some people are really on and off him. I see online like a lot of people on and off about him.
No, I think people are always going to have their preference about how this character to be. If you've been watching, like, I don't know if we can ever see a different Green Arrow. You know, although he wanted to be part of, you know, Justice League in the movies and stuff, he never got that chance, that offer. I don't think I can see someone else as... It's gonna be weird. I mean, saying that, Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker was fantastic, and I don't think I compare... I mean, they're both... Heath Ledger and him are very good. But again, if we go back to how each character and how the value and how people are used to seeing... Because everyone has a different interpretation of a character. You know, you can with your comic book knowledge or the nostalgia that you've had since you're a kid watching animated shows or... Smallville, something that's really old. They have a version of their Green Arrow, and I don't think he was as prominent as he is now. Stephen Amell's impression of Green Arrow is fantastic, but again, like Lex Luthor's about to kill him, and he steps on this toy, and
Tom Welling, Superman,
and Lex Luthor steps on this toy, and he's like, "You're kidding," and he's like, "No, there's the most important thing."
Things like that. That's what's good.
I like that. I thought it was really cool because he's like, because he had tried to kill him with kryptonite, and he just grabbed the kryptonite and he just chucked it away. He's like, I gave up my powers, and he's like, you're basically a god. You know, you could fly, and he just didn't see value in that because what he had done. And that version of Lex Luthor in the Smallville universe, he's president, which I thought was really...
they referenced that.
I thought it was really...
Didn't know the president was in town, which is interesting because it kind of gives people who watch that show a bit of closure because it gives you what would have happened if it kept going.
Yeah, and that's what I felt like with this episode. It was more the having Smallville, Tom Welling and Kevin Conroy's crossover appearance. I felt like that was the only real interesting thing about this because it felt like a filler episode. As much as it was really cool, I felt like they were just trying to put it in just for the sake of it.
A little bit of setting up.
Yeah.
No massive action. Only action though, I've got to say. And one thing you have missed, Brandon Routh coming back.
He was really good.
Another good point in that episode.
But wait, sorry, before we get onto that, I just want to say Smallville's Lois Lane, like her version of Lois Lane, she comes in as well.
She was good as well.
She was pretty good. Anyway, so you were saying
10-second clip, but still.
Yeah, just to see her like she has and she actually made an appearance.
They got 2 girls.
Yeah. That's really really interesting.
It was good to hear.
Yeah.
But like another really good point.
I love
episode.
Brendan.
Honestly,
he's
like he's good as the Atom. But once you see him in the suit, looking buff,
Yeah.
he's looking big,
Yeah.
in that sexy Superman suit, like it really, like I just feel so bad for Tyler Hoechlin, Earth 38 Superman, because he doesn't look strong. His suit looks average.
Yeah.
You see Brandon Routh looking big and buff,
Yeah.
in that sexy Superman suit, and you're like, God damn, like
Yeah,
that is
that's Superman.
what we want to
That's
see.
the pinnacle.
And everyone frothed that. Like
Yeah.
everyone loved it.
Yeah.
And it was good because one, we already seen him in the Superman, and he done it again in like a bit of redemption. Like he didn't fail the Superman,
Nah.
but like it's even more. It's more, and the more, and it's got context. Like there's what made his character so likable is like they actually gave depth to him
Yeah.
because they gave him the back line that the Joker bombed the
Yeah.
Daily Planet and killed
And
all his friends and his
Lois
wife.
as well, wasn't it?
And Kev Lewis, yeah.
Yeah.
And like, so therefore puts backstory into the character. Therefore, we are more invested into the character. Therefore, we like the character more. So that's why.
But that's honestly, that's what I probably appreciate about all these crossovers is that we always imagine what it could be for this person if this happened. Like, what if Superman had kids? Tom Welling. What if Batman went rogue? Kevin Conroy. What if Superman lost everyone? Brandon Routh. We got all these different adaptations and interpretations of all these characters that we love. But I don't know how I feel about. I thought it was interesting, Lex Luthor, but I don't know what they were trying to achieve with this evil. Because he came in, didn't he? Didn't he come in that scene where we see them suit up?
Yeah, he got brought back because he died in Supergirl. Spoilers for anyone who actually hadn't watched Supergirl yet. But he died.
Yeah.
And they brought him back. And like, he can't be dead. He's always got to be around.
Yeah.
He's one of the big boy villains.
Yeah.
It's what makes
Yeah.
it part of. You got a Superman, you got a Lex.
Yeah.
You got a Supergirl, you got a Lex. Like, you got to have that. So, like, I'm happy to see him back. But, like... Yeah, I get why they... At the start, I was like, why is he in this? Like, what is the whole point of this? This is just giving us storyline and action that wouldn't be here. But then at the end, they brought him back because he needed to force all the heroes' hands in revealing the Paragons. Basically, that's what they said his storyline was for at the end. Because the Monitor said he had his part to play. And that was taunting and... Even though he was genuinely killing people. Like, he was killing Superman off.
Yeah.
And the Monitor was alright with that.
That's why out of all people...
So,
I mean, everyone has a purpose. I get it. But why would he... I mean, I still honestly don't understand the reason, because I think they could have brought anyone back and anyone would have just been a good...
I think it's just to force the hands of the heroes, really.
Yeah, just to make it a bit challenging. It would have been too easy.
Yeah.
It would have been too easy.
Plus,
What did end up happening?
Like to see it.
What ended up happening with those two Supermans? I think
Well, they found Brendan Routh, Superman, which is the Paragon, so they brought him back. And Tom Welling, well, he was alright. He walked away, even though at the end of it all, they all died. So they all perished.
But meanwhile, while all this was happening with this drama, Oliver was being resurrected.
Oh, we haven't even mentioned that.
By the Lazarus Pit. And it was Mia and Sarah at the forefront of trying to bring him back.
That's what anyone would want to do if one of your heroes died.
Yeah, obviously. But it's just
they obviously wrote that in the people. The CW writers obviously wrote that. They're like, we're going to kill Oliver in the first episode, then we're going to spend more time in the second episode trying to bring him back after we just did something to like.
I think it's a bit tedious. It's a bit tedious. Why spend all these crossovers, limited time as you have with this crossover, the last crossover? Bringing back someone that shouldn't already be dead, and that's why I like to see Jonah Hex back. But,
yeah, a little reference.
But he's not the same Jonah Hex as he was. He was
different.
different.
People get confused because it was a different Earth.
Yeah,
and a different. I think it was a different timeline.
Yeah, different timeline, different Earth.
Because he hadn't had his scar yet.
And all the Lazarus pits were gone, weren't they?
Yeah. That's what they were trying. Like, if sometimes it kind of slips past people if they don't realize. Like, that's what they were saying. Like, Constantine couldn't find a Lazarus pit. Found one. It was on it was a different Earth on a different time.
It was Earth 18, North Dakota was where they found the crossover. I thought bringing him back was just strange, but I think it worked. I mean,
it's the way it happened. It's the way it's happened the last.
Was that the Lian Yu flashback scene, or was that in part 3? I think when he came back.
That was part 3.
Part 3.
They saved it for part 3.
Okay, so what ended up happening?
Yeah, they knocked him out after he woke up and he was angry because he didn't have his soul.
Yeah.
Because his soul's gone,
Yeah.
his body's back.
Sarah Lance thing.
Yeah. Which I like because they kept it to the same how it was in Arrow. They've done it with Arrow,
Yeah.
with like Roy, Thea, Sarah, all the people that are dead back to life. It was good. They kept like obviously the same way it works, but that's basically for that storyline in that in episode 2. But I didn't mind it. Barry was just. I just found it really weird how they're like, oh, we found the pit. All right, we'll go get the body, and then they come back. They hop through the portal. They're just Constantine and Barry are just holding the body. I was like, oh, just,
yeah,
I get it. That's how they got to do it. But it's just, I don't know.
But yeah, Barry felt. I don't know about you, your opinion on this crossover with Barry, but he felt so. I felt like he felt so weak. Like he wasn't.
At the start,
but I didn't think. Given someone that has super speed, time travel, all that capability of being now he's going to be CW's number one, hero. He's already got the most popular TV show amongst them. I felt like Barry, the Flash, being this really powerful character of this super, human speed. I thought he'd have more of an impact, especially with Oliver Queen. But
that's not just this. That's not just this crossover though. That's been the problem.
Yeah,
with
Flash,
the CW's Flash for a long time now. They underpower him so much.
Yeah.
Only reason is for plot though.
Yeah,
because if they used all his powers to his full, the plot wouldn't matter. Nothing would count because he's that OP. He could just do everything. But they play him down for plot.
But it's
reasons.
the way he's written though. If you see
and the writing, hurts.
it's not. It's like. I mean, not to offend anyone that is a massive, Barry or Iris fan, but it's just they focus a lot on the drama perspective, a lot with Flash, and that's literally what Barry's become. How has he changed from season 1? We don't have to get into how he's changed, but it's I felt like that we need another podcast for that.
Whole podcast.
But yeah. So do we move on to part 3? I think part 3 is.
What else? Did we miss anything? Like Bruce, Kate, all that, and then the Supermans. They were all pretty good. Only thing, one more little nitpick, because I love to nitpick. The only thing I was like a bit like, really? So when Brandon Routh was fighting Tyler Hoechlin's Superman, they were both fighting, which is, you know what? Good CGI fight scene for Superman, because CW, obviously some fight scenes a bit on and off. I didn't mind the Supermans. It looked clean.
No, but it didn't look like it was something that was out of context at all. I thought it looked
worked
good.
well.
Yeah.
But it looked good. It didn't look bad. The only thing that didn't get me, like Lewis and Iris are looking at the window, looking up at them fighting, and
they look so
Lex
concerned.
is there with the book, like thinking about how.
They capture him, don't they? They get him.
And then somehow, this is just thinking like somehow Iris and Lewis walk behind Lex without him even noticing, and then they just knock him out in the back of the head.
Oh, yeah.
And then that's how they stop the fight. They stop fighting. And I was like,
I forgot about that.
Lex is genius, but he didn't see that coming.
Nah.
That was like my only little nitpick on that. I was like, that's my only thing. I was like,
and he ends up getting captured and putting on this. By the way, this Wave Rider is not like the other Wave Riders. This is from a different timeline. They had to get that. They had to fish.
The Legend abandoned.
Yeah, exactly. Which was just
all it was to make a free ride.
Exactly, but like, why couldn't they just bring in the Wave Rider of the current one that they use? Like that would be. I know they can't really risk
the whole thing with bringing Legends in. It's been a bit of a meme the last couple of years.
Exactly.
They even the show jokes about the Legends don't get put in crossovers. I think it was a bit all that.
No, I think it's a bit less interesting with how it kind of goes from something that's really really good to like I think we should just move on to part 3, because I think part 3 really shows, I guess, how things are starting to pick up. Things are starting to get really bad, because we see a lot of cameos here. I didn't really recognize this one, but I noticed that this was it starts off with this character, the Huntress, part 3. I didn't know this, but apparently it's from a short-lived 2002 series called Birds of Prey, which was like 18 years ago. And
it was cool to find. It was cool to see.
I never, honestly, with the context of this character, I had none of the knowledge to give about this character. I think it was cool to see her, but besides that,
I don't think you're meant to look into it too much.
No,
you just meant to go, wow,
cool.
Appreciate
it. Yeah,
that's cool, and then it doesn't matter because literally she died straight away as soon as she saw her. her face got faded away. But still, once again, cool. I'm gonna say it at the end, but about the cameos and stuff. But yeah, cool.
But this is different now. This part 3, I felt like it started off a bit unusual, especially with Oliver coming back. How does it start again? And besides the Huntress scene,
well, I think it was Diggle being told on the Wave Rider that Oliver's dead, and Sarah was telling him, and his body's just sitting there in the because they revived him, but his soul wasn't there. So like he already died, and they've already brought him back, and Diggle has still been out of the loop on this. And they even Sarah goes to Lila like, John hasn't been told about Oliver, and he goes, yeah, I haven't time. And she's obviously got her own plot line where she's gets tempted and baited away by the Anti-Monitor. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, but this is like the start of it. Like this.
Yeah, and I just felt so bad. This whole crossover, I felt so bad for Diggle. Yeah. He's been just screwed over so much.
Exactly. Speaking of Diggle, he comes in. He finally has this moment where he's looking for this mysterious person. Constantine is with him with Mia.
Bring him in,
and that's when he has that scene with Lucifer.
Another cameo.
It's such a good show, Lucifer, and I think it's really interesting. It's not so much a I don't think it's a DC or superhero or villain. I think they just put him in because he's always got rights. If you watch watch an episode of Lucifer, you can always see there's like a Supergirl. So. No, it's just a Supergirl banner will be in the background or something. So I think there is some licensing there, but I mean, it worked. I mean, kind of.
I liked him.
He's funny. He's just very cruel, but he's funny.
From what I've seen, because I've never watched the show, so I don't know what he's like.
Yeah.
But they said that was like pre the show.
Oh,
that
really?
Character was like pre the show.
Yeah.
Because they said he was really like. I don't know what the word would be like.
If you look at Lucifer now, he's a bit more reformed than he was, and back then he was a lot more like this really not necessarily bad, but he just doesn't care. But in that show, the Lucifer, the name of that show, it's like it's the devil reforming. That's the Lucifer plot line.
Right.
But moving on, he helps him, and it's pretty cool to see Mia, Diggle with Constantine in his own show. Cool. I would have never thought this like a few years ago. With Constantine from his own show has come in. And then,
put on Legends,
even though that got cancelled, he put on Legends.
It was good. Those three worked well together. There wasn't much interaction between them.
Yeah.
But I felt sorry for Mia. She kind of gets hit on by, like...
everyone.
Literally all... Like, I'm like, does no one want to stand up or just... Like,
no.
Because, like, even with the Jonah Hex, he was like, maybe we can figure something out. Fool puts his hand on Mia's face back in episode 2. When they're in the Lazarus pit. Puts his hands on Mia's face. I'm like, this is a bit weird. And then, obviously, they fight him. And,
Yeah.
But then in this one, like Lucifer's like, so what do you need, darling? And like, he's just hitting like on Mia, like, and Diggle doesn't care.
Yeah.
But I just felt sorry for Mia.
Yeah, you think Diggle would be a bit more.
They really got out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just that. I would probably presume that Diggle would be a bit more defensive over Oliver's child, but they don't really know each other, do they? I mean, it's not.
No, they don't even met that much.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, it's just the
I
context.
think Diggle's still trying to wrap around what's going on. He's been left out of the loop that much.
Yeah. Anyway, they try to get his soul back. That's the aim, and then like Lucifer tells him these bits of information of what he needs to do, and Constantine.
He's got to retrieve his soul.
Yeah, you got to retrieve.
They're basically just trying to get entry into.
Exactly. It's just another cameo. Just bring him in. Just.
But the cameo was important towards the storyline. Other cameos were just cameos. You know what I mean? This cameo was important. Otherwise, we would have never got.
But he gave him that card, right? That card to take him to purgatory, and we see this variation of Oliver Queen.
Soul?
It's just
his soul trapped
his soul,
purgatory.
And he just doesn't look. It just doesn't look right with how he's got the hood over him.
I like the hood though.
You like the hood?
Good.
Yeah,
the hood looked good.
But like, who's that guy with him? That guy that's in the.
That walked out of the bush.
Yeah,
that was Spectre.
Oh, so that's actually the character Spectre. Oh.
Well, I forget his original name. He says it in the show. He's the Spectre, like the comic book Spectre. But he's that powerful. He can be in any form. So that's why he rocked up into Purgatory, which was Oliver's soul. It's very, like, once again, if you don't look into it, you kind of can skip past all of it.
Yeah.
But they went in to retrieve Oliver's soul because Oliver's soul's stuck there.
But yeah, I understand that, but that's why I felt like this whole entire crossover didn't have any context. I felt like it felt very disjointed unless you have a vast knowledge of comic books and like how Oliver Queen's story is supposed to go or not supposed to go. Spectre.
You just go, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's comic book.
Like I didn't know what was going half the time because I didn't know what to expect, and I don't mind that with shows if they have a good story, but this felt so disjointed. Like it didn't seem like they had one way about it. It felt like the ending of Game of Thrones rewritten. It just didn't. It didn't work as too well. But
like it was emotional. I felt the acting between Oliver, Diggle, Mia when they all met each other again because that was Oliver. Like he knew who they were. So it was emotional. But then it all got cut short because the Spectre came in and said, "This is your purpose. You need to do a higher being." So that's what obviously Oliver accepts. And then it just means that whole storyline. Obviously, we had to have that storyline, but it means that whole storyline was just gone,
wiped. Yeah,
gone because that was it. But it was emotional. Like Diggle got to see him.
Yeah,
and so did Mia. But
it was okay, but it was more. They were trying to really push the emotion of people that.
Oh yeah.
And I mean,
it's either hit or miss.
Yeah, exactly. And I just don't feel that same emotional appeal that the characters. Although the acting choices are fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Especially, I mean, bringing back the old characters is obviously going to be. Look like they fit right back into the roles. They didn't look like disjointed at all. But when I'm talking about how the plot sequence went, it wasn't fluent. There was no direct, this is what we're going to do, this is our mission, done. They had so many, I know there's so many relapses and you had to have Lex Luthor, hijack one of the Paragons, but this episode was literally the gathering of Paragons, and we saw the appearance of Ryan Choi.
That was the other plot. So they had once again, they had two storylines going. The Oliver one, bringing Soul back, Paragons and all them, and because this was a Flash episode. Yeah. Episode 2 was Batwoman, so that's why it was kind of revolved around her and her storyline. This was Flash.
But explain to me why a physics professor would be chosen to be the paragon of humanity.
The only reason I understood his choice was because he's going to be in Legends. He's going to be a part of the Legends
Is he officially going to be part of the show, or is that just...
Well, the way it ended, I was like...
Is he a superhero that I'm not really understanding?
Because apparently Brandon Routh's Atom is leaving. Yeah. And in the comics, Ryan Choi is the Atom.
Oh, okay.
So he's going to take that mantle. Right. But they never reference it. They reference him talking because he mentions the microverse and talks about shrinking and stuff, but that was it. We didn't see anything about a suit, didn't see anything about dressing up and fighting. Ryan Choi has hero qualities. Doesn't, more.
Yeah, but he's been told that he's one out of 7 people that are to save the whole entire multiverse. This is his
first introduction.
Leave your kids.
Random guy.
Yeah, leave your wife. Go just leave your whole entire family behind and just come with us. And he's just joined.
If I didn't know that, I would have been like, what the hell?
That's what I'm saying. 90% of people are probably like, what's going on here? Why him? Why did they have to put him in? Yeah. Why couldn't another Paragon be like Diggle? I'm sure Diggle's got a lot of humanity. I mean, what's if you look at his character development again,
crazy.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. How can they put someone that's had no experience in any multiverse or any show, just bring him in? And I get it. It's just damage control for Legends of Tomorrow when they get rid of
it's
Adam.
The CW, but still setting up things further down the line. Yeah, because they want to obviously continue CW, the Arrowverse. I want to continue it. So they're setting up little things. Ryan Choi's one of them. Batwoman's one of them. That's why she's so prominently in it. All those things. That's the only little thing I get a little bit annoyed with CW. They always want to set up the next thing rather than paying off the current thing that's happening on the screen. They're trying to set up the next thing. Yeah. Because they always want to expand. Exactly. I get that. You gotta get that good blend. You gotta get that good blend of what's happening, doing it right, but also slowly building.
Yeah, but just focus what's in front of you. It's just, I don't know why that formula is so hard. Just create a simple.
They don't lean it sometimes.
No, I think it's all. But I mean, one of the good things about this episode where we saw John Wesley's ship as
this was a Flash episode.
Earth 90, so they had a lot of Flash vibes throughout the whole thing.
Grant Gustin had a very good episode because his acting was good.
Yeah, he
had a good episode. Cisco was back. They're all back.
Caitlin Snow's Killer Frost.
She's in it. Yeah. That whole scene where they finally break through the wall they get into where Pariah was trying to get into. We never saw it because Pariah Nash turned into Pariah, and then that was the best we saw. We finally get into that area where he was teased, where it was teased on Flash.
Yeah.
We finally get in there. It's Earth 90, which we saw from the previous.
But he had to sacrifice himself, right? Like,
yeah, which is a bit of a cop out. Once again, the whole storyline
everyone's
of the
just
Flash
killing each other.
The Flash is going to die. The Flash is going to
Yeah,
die.
yeah.
The Flash is going to die. Oh wait, he doesn't die
No.
because he's been given a 23 episode season. He clearly wasn't going to die.
No.
Like if you understood those things, you could see it was obvious.
Yeah. But I don't know. I thought. I mean, you could say that about Arrow. You know, you could say, he's got
Arrow
10
was
episodes. No, but you could say
he was finished.
no. But I understand that. But if you have 10 episodes of Arrow, kill him in the 8th, and then what are the next 2 episodes about? He's not in there. That's his show. He's been there for 8 years. You know what I'm saying?
Wrapping it up, putting a bow on it. That's what they're doing.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
you could say, oh, this is not fair. But I mean, like you said, it's a very Flash episode. They put a lot of Flash vibes
Flash
into
heavy.
it.
That's what's the point of it.
I get that, but I felt like the good thing about the other crossovers is that you could see things from other shows that they put in another show. For instance, if you had like a relationship problem with, I think it was Vandal Savage, right? Felicity and Oliver, right? They were going through this thing, and
yeah, I remember this.
and they had and it was William who had this, like, he's your son or something like that, and they put that across different shows instead of having
into other shows.
Exactly, and they were fine. And it's like, and Oliver, Barry warned him, you have to tell Felicity because it's gonna, backfire. And that's what I felt because it was more, they were trying to focus on what not to do and make sure that the fans that are just watching, because I'm sure there are fans out there that just watch Arrow. I'm sure there are just fans out there that just watch Flash. And some people just probably watched one episode of that crossover and thought that's it.
Oh, surely they watched
Yeah.
all of them. But there probably was one or two.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. But that whole point of that whole plot with Earth 90, Barry Allen, John Wesley's ship, awesome. Finally got to see him back because he just disappeared and we didn't know what happened to him. He was running on that treadmill, the anti-monitor treadmill, and he was doing all that, and he was the one that sacrificed himself in the end.
The treadmill.
And that was emotional. Like, we have a little bit of story backline with him because we've seen him a few times before, but he hasn't been given any actual storyline. But they reference, because obviously that was from when he did his show in the 90s.
Yeah, they actually did a
Tina,
flashback to that.
Which is she was her older versions in The Flash as a different character, but this was when she was younger, working with John Wesley's ship. And they had a relationship. And having that little clip of them, like, as he's running and as he's turning into nothing because he's sacrificing himself. And they show that clip. That was perfect. It worked.
Yeah.
Like, you felt for that character, even though you only see him a little bit, still worked. It was good.
The acting was on point.
Yeah, the acting was good. Grant's acting was good. Like, he was ready to say goodbye to Cisco and Caitlin. You were here from the start when I was Flash. Like, that was emotional. Like, they were ready to say goodbye, and then obviously it all got flipped in a second because the other Barry, John was ship, was sacrificing. But one thing I liked about that one was where they brought Black Lightning in.
Yeah.
He finally got in.
Oh, he did come in. Prior enlisted his help or something.
Prior's in the back, just chilling out, watching everything happen because that's what he has to do. But he did bring him in, to help hold the explosion.
But he was enlisted to help, prevent the damage of Anti-Monitor. Yet he brought in the Anti-Monitor. Do you understand what I'm thinking? Like, he's all over the place.
Well, yeah. See, I understand it. So, if you didn't understand it, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I understood, from what happens in the comic book.
Yeah.
He didn't know it was the Anti-Monitor. Then this is Pariah I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The Pariah didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
Then he realizes he's done the wrong thing, and he's forever has to watch.
Yeah.
What happens, and then he has the powers, and he obviously chooses good because he's realized he's done wrong.
But doesn't it seem a bit foolish to put all this on one person? And we saw what happened. Oh, it's your fault. It's you're to blame. But I just want to go back to this Spectre scene with this character. I think it's Lobo, Stephen Lobo on the part 3 of the crossover. How he talks to him.
The other plot line.
He talks to him going, "It's your destiny to save everyone." And I thought that was a really intricate line about you can save everyone. And we've been told that he's got a really fulfilling purpose, and you are going to sacrifice yourself. And I thought to bring it back to, okay, yes, you are going to sacrifice yourself. Don't think that it's your fate is not like that. Because at the end of the day, we thought that it wasn't going to happen because Oliver's death it's been faded for a while, but I thought when he died, that's Oliver died. Like he's dead. I knew they were going to bring him back somehow, but I just didn't think the way that they brought him back was you're going to come back and you're going to save the universe this way. I just thought it was a bit impressionable if you're watching from the start.
But I didn't mind it.
Yeah,
it's real hit and miss, but that's where he was from the start. Like I see it a lot like the way they use Iron Man. And that was what they were trying to do, and it was the best they could. Like they had to give him powers so he could take on that.
But like you put perfectly, the thing that you like about Oliver Queen is that he's just a human person.
Yeah,
like he's
I
just.
love that. But then that one
But you take away his humanity, don't you?
That ended when he died.
Yeah.
The first time.
Yeah.
And I, as much as it hurt me, and I was annoyed because that's how he went out. Dude's fighting. So many stronger people than he dies to.
Yeah.
Bloody
It's so
Harry Potter
easily.
Dementors,
Yeah.
Like,
it's so easy the way he dies. And anyway, let's just end the part 3 ends on him on everything just
everything. Yeah, it all goes to shit.
yeah.
Like they all die.
Yeah,
like,
everyone dies.
All the Earths get wiped. They all get taken back to the
Which I thought
Wave
was
Rider.
really shocking. I thought there'd be
I didn't expect it. That's what I'm going to say for CW. Did not see that coming.
it was a good idea.
Everything. A lot of things are predictable in CW. That wasn't. That was good. And obviously that was where there was the good couple weeks break. So they left on the cliffhanger because you knew it was going to be a cliffhanger. Didn't think it was going to be that, which was good. But
I knew it was going to be a pretty big cliffhanger, but I didn't see every single Earth getting wiped. Just and
I knew they were going to merge all Earths. I thought they were going to leave that one Earth, and then everyone's just going to survive on that one Earth. But they
who's it was Lila that
that's another thing. Her whole storyline.
What happened with her when she came? Because how did
She
they
got corrupted by the Anti-Monitor, really.
but was it Pariah that got them out? Remember there was like these
Pariah
little
sent them. Pariah sent them to the vanishing point,
and these little I don't know what it was.
And he got wiped
dust.
as well.
Yeah, he got But it was like his, and I thought that was pretty cool.
It was his abilities, but they don't explain his abilities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like there's no context to this unless
they don't
you have.
explain his abilities. He's just got very powerful abilities, just like Lila has.
Yeah.
Or Harbinger. That was her name now.
Yeah.
But I've seen her that long. She's Lila.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Even though she got wiped, she wiped herself because she was taken over. She got corrupted. She was good, but. It was
the Anti-Monitor gets to her.
Yeah, got into her.
I mean, what do you think about
that's part of the comic?
What do you think about the look of Anti-Monitor? Just to look at aesthetically
and then
speaking.
they finally reveal him.
Yeah.
In this episode at the end. Good, but we saw they posted a photo of the Anti-Monitor online.
Yeah.
Like the CW did, and he looked.
One of the posters.
Yeah, one of the posters. They posted one photo of him, and he looked sick. He looked scary.
Yeah.
Looking like Thanos a little bit.
Yeah, just the grilling
Maybe
of his
coincidence,
face.
but
Yeah.
But he looked intimidating, and he looked good with his armor and stuff.
Yeah.
It was the opposite of what the Monitor looks like with his armor. Because the CW, that's the way they do. They follow costumes, and they change it a little bit and stuff. But it looked good. But then when it came to the show, it didn't look like the photo. Because obviously the photo had been heavily edited to make it look good. And then it was on the show, it was just a little bit less. I was like, because I saw him coming, but they held him back heaps. It took 3 episodes to finally see the true villain.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people liked that. Some people didn't like that. That was a bit of from what I saw online. It was the real deciding thing. People it took 3 episodes to finally just get the 1 second look at him at the end.
Yeah.
But
for me, it felt like it didn't work. He looks decent enough, but something about being the Anti-Monitor was just having the Monitor as this really. Tell me why the Monitor couldn't just explain why he needs these people, instantly, the moment. Why did he have to just challenge Oliver throughout the whole entire, season and, put all these people to test about, you're going to die, Kara, you're going to die, Barry, you're going to die, Oliver. He says that to everyone. And it's just really annoying that he doesn't even know what's going on. And even when Oliver died, if we just track back to the first episode, the Monitor was so surprised. This is not how I saw it coming. This Monitor is supposed to be, almighty, doesn't even know what's going to happen. And I think his character development has been a bit strange because he voices the Anti-Monitor as well, that same actor.
He's acting in it. He's got that whole, I think it's a mask, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's him.
But anyway, everyone gets wiped, and as we see everyone, the main, it was the Paragons. It was everyone's that was there,
Literally
including the Brandon Root Superman who gets
he was
wiped.
A Paragon.
Yep.
He got wiped by Lex.
And I didn't know what was going on. I was like, what's this red? I did not think Lex Luthor.
I think he dies.
Yeah, he dies.
I'm guessing he does because obviously he gets.
Oh, you mean
must
like
get wiped
indefinitely?
from
Oh,
existence
yeah.
Because Lex takes his
Yeah,
spot.
yeah.
So I'm guessing I'm like, well, he's dead now.
It's just him in the jail, and he must have he was looking at the book of
Well, he had
destiny.
the Paragon. He must have still had the book with him. We
No,
don't see it.
yeah,
It's something that happened off screen.
Yeah,
But
it didn't feel like
it's very selfish of Lex.
Yeah, but I thought it was like strange. You got these 7
I
heroes.
think we all would have loved to see him Braden Superman.
Yeah,
in the end.
a lot more.
Because you know what that end fight was like. Imagine if he was there. It would have been so much
Instead
cooler.
of kicking stuff or hitting stuff.
But
But
yeah.
I mean, he gave himself moving on to part 4. When he
Yeah, that was the end of part 3.
That was the
end.
end.
And then the Paragons are stuck in the vanishing point, which is outside of space
Yeah.
and time, which was on Legends a couple of seasons ago. They bring it back, which is cool because it got blown up.
Yeah.
Because that's when Captain Cold died. If anyone actually remembers, like,
Oh, really?
remember when Captain Cold had his
Yeah,
arm?
yeah.
Because you even watched Legends back then.
Yeah, was that the vanishing
That was
point?
the vanishing point with all the Time Masters.
Oh,
this is
yeah.
what I mean. So this is a deep cut for the Arrowverse.
And
So remember he had his arm in, he goes, "There's no strings on me," and then
Yeah.
it blows up, and
Yeah.
everything blows up in space and shit.
That was really good. I really
That
liked
is
that
where
scene.
they are, because you know why?
I had no
you know how they
idea.
get they get transported there, and it's
Yeah.
all broken. Everything's that's that.
Yeah,
Nothing
yeah.
else happened since then. That was the
It
vanishing
looks like
point.
a horrible place.
Yeah,
It looks like
that's because in Legends Captain Cold sacrificed himself and blew it up. That was that.
yeah.
Yeah, so I like that because it's deep cut. Something that was happened in another show, it's brought back, but that's where they get taken, and that's that's outside of space and time, and I don't
Yeah.
know how that works. But then that was it. They finished there. All the Paragons are alive. That's it,
Yeah.
and then they go on break. So then we had like 3 months to sit there and go,
Just wait.
what the
But
hell?
yeah, but I didn't get the feeling that I was like, oh, really keen. Honestly, just for Oliver Queen's Arrow is all I wanted to see, because that's what came back. Arrow's episode came back. That was the start of that 2020 series, and it was cool to see how it started with all of them together, and they look lost, and they're looking like Ryan Choi's walking around.
What
And
episode is this? Like, whose episode is the fifth one? The
fourth one is Arrow. Fourth one is Arrow.
is?
Yeah. And
Oh, it is because it's very Arrow heavy. This
Yeah,
is a good episode for
a few reasons.
For Steven's
Yeah.
for Steven because he's on it more.
Yeah.
Acting's good. Grant and him always good. Always works.
But you can see Lex Luthor is frustrated, right?
Yeah.
And I think from memory, Oliver Queen comes in, and he's not this person. He goes,
This is from the start.
this is very.
So Barry comes back. It's been a month.
Oh yeah.
They
it's
say they say, they don't tell you directly, but Ryan Choi's like narrating because he's writing to his wife,
Yeah.
which is gone anyway.
Yeah.
But he's like, it's been a month, nothing's happened. Everyone's just Batwoman's training. Sarah's just ominously staring into the distance and all this stuff. And it was a little bit cringe, but I
Yeah.
get it. They're trying to give
Yeah.
us context, which
Yeah.
sometimes I don't give, which is good. They gave us context, so we understand. And it's been a month. Barry's gone because he's ran off into the Speed Force, but it was only 5 seconds for him. There's no Speed Force, so he gets thrown back.
Yeah.
And that's where the episode starts.
Yeah.
And then
Oliver comes in.
Oliver comes in as the Spectre.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I was so
cool.
confused.
It's cool. It kind of looks like the Spectre. Like, it's CW's best attempt at like the comic book look. It's hard to look like him
Yeah.
because he's a cosmic guy, and in the comics they obviously exaggerate it heaps. He's a big guy. It's crazy. So for a real life version, it's okay. Like Ryan Choi said in the show, it's like, yeah, he does look a bit like Sith vibe, which is pretty funny. Because he does. He's got the hood on. He's real Palpatine. Get it. So you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I didn't mind it. But the only thing I was like, they put a big heavy tone on his voice. Like they put a big heavy when he speaks. What's the God?
The spec, but like,
Great podcasting.
but I mean, yeah, I mean, it was like a voiceover.
A voice changer.
Yeah.
They put a voice changer on
Yeah.
him because he's obviously like they're trying to show that he's a cosmic
Yeah,
god.
yeah,
So he's got a
he's
different
like
voice. You're like it's Steven, but they've modified it, and I was like, I don't know, that was a bit odd.
But if we give some context to Spectre, he's just like this cosmic being.
Yeah.
He's just this universe.
It's the CW's and DC's version of like pretty much a god.
I did, but I honestly didn't know, what was to be said until I was like, okay, what's going on here? Did some research, and he's able to change the shape and size of his body and can teleport anywhere he chooses, and that gave a lot of context to his character. Yeah, he can do whatever he wants.
Once again, like CW really love doing, they underpowered him.
Yeah, they could have made him this really scary.
Yeah, they underpowered him heaps. His abilities are crazy. Like you were just saying a little bit there, like.
But one of which, what he does to Barry, he gives him that ability of, what is it, the Speed Force or something?
He just taps him on the head.
Yeah, what?
He just taps
that
him.
looked.
I also think that's a double meaning.
What do you mean?
Like, you know, he just taps him on the head, nothing actually happens. He just taps him and he goes, "You have unlocked all your abilities now." I think it's a double meaning. Barry already had that unlocked.
Oh, you think it's a placebo effect?
Yeah.
You think he just does it because it's like you've always had that power.
Barry's always had that, but like. Oliver's
like a mental
to make him mentally think he can. I think that was. Like, I thought the way I perceived that was what it meant.
Yeah,
because otherwise you would have seen something like cosmic about it.
But you know what got me though? I was like watching it and I was like, okay, this is a bit weird, strange. And he's like, do you trust me? And he's like,
with every cell in my body.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I was like, I was like, okay, you know, that's the first time in the crossover. I was like, okay, you know, I feel that it's because Barry looked like he
didn't know what was going on.
No,
he had no idea. He wasn't there seeing Oliver getting asked to fulfill his destiny.
The Paragon of Love. No,
he was busy being the Paragon. That's what he was doing. But he never saw that, so he never understood. And then he's seen this Oliver. He didn't know what it was, but yeah, he obviously trusted.
But what interesting was fantastic. What happens? When he starts sprinting. He encounters Ezra Miller's Flash.
Well, yeah, they run in the Speed Force. So
and he's got them all.
Oliver goes, "You need to run the Speed Force. You need to take us to the Dawn of Time.
Yeah.
You need to take us to the Dawn of Time." And then the Anti-Miner, like, I don't know, kind of like leaps at them.
Yeah.
Like, scares them, leaps at them, and like throws them out. Yeah. So that's the plot of this episode. They're all scattered. They need to come back together as a team and to come back to the Dawn of Time. So that was where the plotline started, and that's where everyone got thrown around.
So just to be clear, before this whole entire thing started, we saw the Monitor had that really like basically a prequel scene with his wife, and she was like the Monitor. She was called the Monitor.
I was trying to give a bit of backstory,
and I honestly
origins.
I didn't feel anything for that. No. I didn't think that was something that we needed to know.
Well, it probably was something we needed to know, but it didn't land for me.
No.
I get it. Like, I get it. They want to show us how things were born and give a bit of, obviously, once again, context. They're trying to give context. Some things they don't do, some things they do. They're trying to give context this time. And, yeah, it kind of worked, but, like he just went to this Dawn of Time and they didn't like him being there, so therefore the Anti-Monitor was awoken to the presence of the Monitor, even though he wasn't the Monitor, he was just... It was,
That's what I'm saying. It's, again, disjointed.
Because it's a very hard comic book. It was their best attempt at trying to show it on the show.
I think one thing we kind of know is how action-packed this crossover is. There's so much action.
Heaps.
There's a lot of action sequences, one of which...
Which fair play to CW for them to...
Yeah. And, I mean, what did you think of Ezra Miller's...
Nutty. Problem is, I'll be honest, I got spoiled for me.
Yeah.
So it killed I would have squealed like a little girl probably if I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is just top cameos of the cameos.
That's amazing.
That's nuts. But I got it spoiled for me because I hadn't watched the episode yet, and then I clicked on Facebook once, and then it just showed the face and it said Ezra, and I was like, I clicked on it, I was like,
but to get him though, Mark Guggenheim had to move heaven and earth from. He's basically like the Kevin Feige of the Arrowverse.
Mark Guggenheim.
Yes.
He
and he's just this. You know, he probably tried really hard to get him. I don't know how much he would have paid him, but given how scattered the DCU is with their standalone, and how many times like the Flash
movie's got a script, doesn't have a script, has a script, now it doesn't have a script,
exactly.
It has a director, doesn't have a director.
Yeah.
It's very odd for him to even be back in the suit.
Yeah,
that's massive.
Yeah,
to him be on the same screen as Grant Gustin's The Flash, crazy.
Think about 2016 when he came,
and when that happened. Even though I was trying to stay off of it because I didn't want it to get spoiled for me, even though eventually it did. Like, because I didn't watch the episode live, neither did you. Like, it broke the internet. That was trending straight away. Ezra Miller was trending straight away. All that was trending. People like going crazy. Which it's awesome. It's cool.
Yeah.
But that's the biggest point of the whole episode was like a 10-second crossover. I get it.
It's
It's DCU.
Yeah.
DCEU.
Yeah, but for me, it's more fan service.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Fans went crazy because they saw Ezra Miller's Flash. I don't think you'd feel like that if you were looking for something with me. Like I'm old fashioned with loving a storyline. I'll have Christopher Nolan's Batman because of the story. I mean, some people will be different because they like BVS Batman because of the action. But if you watch the extended edition of BVS, which when is Ezra Miller made his appearance in, then people appreciate how good it was.
Yeah, reference.
Yeah. But that was that the last time he appeared as the Flash, Ezra Miller's Flash? Was that in 2016?
What?
Oh no, in 2017 Justice League, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's got his own Justice in the bloody Justice League.
Yeah,
movie,
but then there was a Flash movie that was supposed to happen before that. I mean, how many times did Flashpoint was supposed to be rumored?
Oh, I don't know.
But they've got their own version
That's
brewing.
a whole other story. Man.
Yeah, but and as they come together, part 4. What was really shocking is Ryan Choi is walking around the woods. Supergirl's there, and
Yeah, that's one of them. So
and
like,
then, sorry, yeah,
no. Give context to like what was happening.
Yeah,
they all got
they
thrown
got
off.
separated.
That was one. No, they didn't go in the Speed Force. So like, it was Lex, Supergirl, and Ryan Choi. They went to the Earth, which I didn't understand how there was the planet because we're in the dawn of time. How is there a planet where?
But that was
the monitor came
that
from.
was the monitor's home planet.
But didn't everything get wiped? Isn't the only thing left?
But that's what I'm thinking. It's beginning of time. They're going back. That's what I'm saying because they met the monitor.
The only thing.
But they met the monitor in his old form. Anyway, what I thought was really cool was seeing Lex Luthor.
Time travel. So
Lex
that's where
Luthor,
they went, and the rest went in the Speed Force. Yeah, this is the other storyline. Yeah.
And I just thought it was really cool to see Lex Luthor with his powers, and he just like, I gave myself powers.
He rewrote the book,
and I thought that was really cool just to see how he would be, because Lex Luthor's never been one with powers. He's always used technology as his power, kryptonite suits and everything.
It's all he ever wanted is that power though. And
he's got the knowledge. He doesn't really need.
Yeah, it was good though.
Yeah, I mean the way that he goes and he meets the monitor and says this is this and this is how he's supposed to be and these are bad people and stuff. He's just trying to manipulate the monitor into thinking that these are bad people.
He's trying to bargain and deal with it.
Yeah, Dormammu. But what I think that was interesting about it is how the monitor was just brought back. You know, I thought he was like dead, and they were like, okay, let's just bring back the monitor. I think it was another poor excuse to bring the monitor back.
This is a different.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But they still brought the actor for the monitor back.
Oh yeah.
And he had to. I think they had to portal somewhere or something to get to the dawn of time. What happened with the other lot?
So the rest of them were in this. Barry grabbed them, ran into the Speed Force with even the Spectre. And then the Antimon jumped out. Like I said, they jumped out scared them, and they all got thrown in the Speed Force, so different times. Yeah. And because it's an Arrow episode, it was, which is nice. They focused on Arrow points in Arrow's show, or when Arrow or Green Arrow was in it. So Stephen Amell, Oliver Queen, when he was in it.
But he felt so grounded. His character felt like he was like, "Are you Oliver Queen?" No, and yes and no. Yes like and no. He's just.
So that was the first one. They met. They were wearing, it was little references that I enjoyed. So it was Oliver Queen and Grant, and they were saying, "You're in the Speed Force, Barry. He's thrown us off.
Yeah,
I'm only here just like he was like a phased ghost. I don't know what he was.
That's what he was. He was just putting himself respect his abilities.
He spread himself. Because he's OP. But he was wearing the original clothes. This is like real like hard to pick up. What they were wearing, the original clothes they were wearing when they first met. Back in season 2,
really?
Arrow?
His suit?
When Barry Allen came on the show for the first time as just as the detective. That was.
Oh no way! He's wearing like his trench coat. Is that what it was?
Yeah, he was wearing like if you go back and watch, he's wearing the same clothes. Like they kept to that detail. I enjoyed that.
I didn't pick that
I enjoyed that. They were wearing the same clothes as they were when they first met. Even Oliver was like as looking at as Oliver.
Yeah.
So that was cool. He was just basically telling him and telling us the audience like. What you had to do. You had to go and get everyone. And tell them to remember. He even said, like, remind me. You have to remind me, Oliver Queen. So he did. So that's where Barry went. So Barry went back into the Speed Force. And that's where it set up, like, all the nice references. And so then it followed through. And it was like, it was when in the other crossover.
Yeah.
With, it was the, oh my God, which crossover was it?
the cross on
The one where Oliver shoots the special and then tells him.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was
which crossover that one?
That was the book. That was the first appearance of the Book of Destiny when the Monitor placed. And this is like a challenge for Oliver, seeing if you can deal with this. And that's when Black Superman made that appearance.
That whole scene.
Yeah, that was really good. I liked that. I enjoyed that. I thought
that was a good scene. It was emotional because obviously Grant Gustin.
But I just didn't understand. But I didn't understand why or how we see Batwoman, right? And it's cool. It's cool to see. There's so many scenes.
Cool.
Like Malcolm Merlin's talking with. Is it Malcolm? No, it's not Malcolm. Is it?
It's Brandon Routh. As
it's Brandon Routh, and that's right.
Season 3.
Season 3.
When he gets introduced as a character. So if you didn't watch Arrow, you probably didn't understand.
Nah.
But obviously I stood. You understood, and we were like, "That's sick. That's a cool scene." When they were like.
But it's weird how the old version of it, because they're scattered over time.
They never explained Batwoman. She just got picked up.
Yeah, why is she there?
It was the only thing I got from that scene with Batwoman was it was trying to give Batwoman a bit of knowledge. Like Oliver was the same as her. Like they had trust issues.
Yeah.
But Oliver, she was like, you didn't trust anyone, and now everyone trusted you. Like, how did that happen? He said, maybe I think she's like, maybe I should learn a little bit like that.
Yeah.
I think it was just a bit of like character growth.
That's what I'm saying. Just more character development.
And then she just got grabbed
Mm.
with Barry after he figured out everyone else. So then, like, Barry was talking with Oliver, and then Oliver explains his deal that he made because they never told each other this whole time. It's been like a whole season between the crossover and this crossover.
But I mean, besides being on the deathbed in the first episode, he briefly said to Oliver and
I was meant to die.
Yeah,
that was it.
He was like, "What?
Dead.
What?"
I feel bad because they never really got to talk. Like for being best buds, they really never got to talk. They were kind of busy. But he was saying like, I made the trade. He's like, you made a devil's bargain. And he's like, I didn't make a devil's bargain. It's easy. Like I made the easiest. Like dying's easy. People, the heroes. That's what they really. It was a good line. Like dying's easy. The real heroes are the ones that live on.
Yeah, I liked that a lot.
It was good and it worked. And it made the good acting again. Both of them always work well together. The chemistry's good. And it was emotional. Like Barry understands what Oliver did now, and like what he sacrificed. And that was a good scene. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Definitely.
The other scene was John Jones.
Oh yeah,
he was out of time.
About John Jones.
He was at the Invasion crossover at the facility when once again it's Oliver. It's about Oliver. It's giving like Oliver and Tara didn't trust each other because she was just introduced and he didn't know. This is when Oliver was just learning about multiverse, aliens. So he was in deep and he didn't understand and he was a bit against it. And it was a bit more about that.
Yeah.
I like that scene. It was good.
It's just sharing Oliver and what everyone else has in comparison with Oliver. That's how I just saw it. It's just and that scene was it with Kara or was it with Oliver?
It was with Kara. Kara was there talking to Oliver from that timeline, and then John comes in because he's been.
And everyone's like, "Oh, can you see me? Do you see me?" Like it's weird. I think it's just weird.
Barry came in and grabbed.
I mean, I know it's different timelines and all the Earths are gone and whatever, but I just felt like it was so strange them interacting. It was cool to see the actors back, but like Oliver didn't have that really thick beard when he was at that stage.
Because that was the Spectre.
Yeah,
he had to find.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm being really picky, but I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of. I get why they had to try and tie in everything because they wanted all the Paragons, but when they finally came together, I don't know. What'd you think? I mean,
they finally got through the Speed Force and they ended up at the Dawn Time, and I think that's where it finished. They all finished at the Dawn Time.
They all fight.
Oh, do they fight in episode?
They fight in 4. And
Oliver. Shit, I'm cutting the episode so early. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, and then so they have the fight scene.
Yeah.
Where the Spectre's there and he's just watching.
He just looks.
Him and the Anti-Monitor stand there having like talks because they're going to have their big boss fight.
Yeah. And they're just cool. And the other guys are just fighting.
And the other ones are down there fighting off the Dementors.
The kicking.
And I'm sorry. Punching. Like this is the only thing I just didn't enjoy.
Okay. You say it first because I think I know.
I'm watching Batwoman. Ryan Choi, that's what I was going to say. And Lex, they're just swinging and they're just. I'm like, why is Ryan Choi here? He's just swinging at ghosts and they're just disappearing in front of him.
To be fair, I think Lex Luthor did use his power.
He was using his powers.
But Ryan Choi, I get Batwoman's okay because I get she's in a suit.
She's still fly kicking.
Yeah, I know she's standing there fly kicking. But Ryan Choi, I saw him like punch thin air like 5-6 times. Yeah. It didn't look
because
right.
The actors would have just been told, just swing and punch, and we'll put them in front of you when we go to putting the graphics and edits in.
But like, how are these? Okay, just explain something to me. How are these villains so scary when all they need is to create a massive big fan and just blow them all into oblivion and them all just turn into dust?
Oh,
if they're as thin as dust, like how much power do you need? Like if you're just punching him, how much power do you need to put? Like no power at all, like to just make them disappear. What happens if you just chuck like 10 tennis balls at them? Does like 10 go away?
I know.
Like
Silly.
it's just not. If we look at their turn on, it wasn't Elseworlds. It was that was fantastic. That was the crossover, by the way, with the Black Superman. It was Elseworlds when
Elseworlds, that's the name.
Oliver Queen was the Flash, which was awesome. But I've liked every crossover. I think they've done. I think the only one I didn't like was the Dominator. So I just didn't really.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. No, it wasn't bad. But
Well, CGIs.
yeah. I don't like how they use CGI too much.
It's similar to the fight scene in this one. They're fighting the Dementors. It doesn't look right. Well, the Shadow Demons, Harry Potter Dementors.
They should just keep to what their strengths are.
Right.
Though.
The same thing happened when they were fighting the aliens back in that crossover. It's
Yeah.
the same thing.
But they should
Obviously,
keep to their strengths in terms of what they have with technology. So why put these creatures in if they look bad? They knew what they were doing, and I felt like they should have spoken.
It
a
always
bit.
comes down to that though. The rest of the characters always have to do something. So they've got to fight an army. In quotation marks, they've got to fight an army. It's the
Otherwise
aliens in
they're
that
just
crossover.
useless.
It's these Dementors in this crossover.
But tell me what did the Paragons? What did the Paragons do in that end?
Well, it came down.
What would have it mattered?
Well, so basically, then Oliver, like to get to that, to what you're asking, to get to that, Oliver and the Anti-Mortar start fighting. To be fair, CGI wasn't bad. Didn't understand.
That
what
was
going
okay.
on.
That was
A lot
okay.
of cosmic fighting and Harry Potter wand. It was like it reminded me of Harry Potter and Voldemort with their wand off.
Yeah, the green and red combination.
It reminded me of that because they were very much doing the power surge, like they were battling off against each other.
Yeah,
all that stuff. And then the Spectre wins. Like Oliver beats him, like overpowers him because the Paragons they channeled. It didn't look right.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Barry realizes that they are the Paragons. They all need to use love, courage, destiny. I can't remember all of them off my head. But all those Paragons, they have to use their abilities. And like, they just all go and stare at Oliver while he's fighting. Because they need to light he lights the spark. They fan the flame.
Yeah.
That's what it was trying to show.
Yeah,
It's hard.
I get it.
But that's what they were fanning the flame. He was lighting Oliver's lighting the spark, fighting the Anti-Mortar. They had to, but they just literally because it's like with the Destiny, like you just think about it with the Book of Destiny. That's what they had to do. They just had to think about it. So they all just stood there and they just looked at him.
Yeah.
And it helped Oliver defeat the Anti-Mortar.
Yeah, but it didn't, like you said, it didn't look right. And
like if I have to explain it, then it clearly isn't that obvious. Like you have to put obviously knowledge. But when you're watching, you should get a. And you should understand with just having to watch. You shouldn't have to.
Yeah, exactly. You shouldn't have to do all this research. So, I mean, we can go into depth about
to us talking about it.
Exactly. Yeah, but like I said with the Oliver Queen, it just I don't know how Oliver Queen and the Anti-Mortar are just standing right next to each other, and 2 seconds later they're trying to kill each other. Right? That I thought was a bit weird. Right? Again with the Paragons, they're useless. And then like Sarah, and when that happens, and he's like, he has the definitive line, that he deals.
Failed this multiverse.
Exactly, and
beautiful. Loved it.
I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that.
We all knew it was coming.
And then Sarah's
like,
Sarah's like, get us up there. And then Oliver's like in the dirt. And
this is after he's defeated the
This is literally right after, and Barry just grabs her, and of course he has to grab her out of all people because no one really has that deep connection, and he dies like right in front of them, and he's just saying that line that you mentioned with the the heroes, and I think he says
easy parts dying, the real heroes live on. Yeah,
and
that was like at that moment when I was initially watching it, I was annoyed, and I was like, "This is I don't know what's going on." Like I didn't enjoy that.
I get how they had to finish on Arrow, but why did they put Arrow in the 4th episode? Why couldn't they put Arrow in the 5th episode and have this cataclysmic event that they took a bit more time with? I really don't care about cameos. I mean, they're cool. They're really interesting to see, but I'd rather have a good plot.
I think the CW wanted a whole episode to set up the next phase of CW Arrowverse after this. Yeah. They wanted a whole episode, so I think that's why they forced it into 4. Like, at the first time I watched the death of the Spectre / Oliver Queen, second time, and he's laying there, and he's got that tear rolling down, he's looking up at the multiverse being created again. I was annoyed. Second time, didn't mind it. The acting was good.
He creates the new universe. Yeah.
Katie Lotz, Sarah, Grant, Barry and Stephen as Oliver. All good acting there.
Yeah,
like
brilliant.
it was all worked, and like it was sad. I felt bad the second time. First time I was a bit annoyed. Second time I was a bit better watching it, but the acting wasn't bad. And then it cuts. It all fades because that's when the multiverse gets brought back.
Yeah.
And then that's where it cut. It literally just cuts right there.
Yeah.
On 4, and that's when 5 starts.
And Oliver's actually, his legacy, everything that he's done, just ends right in that moment.
In that flash.
Yep. And we move on to part 5.
5.
And part 5...
Well, boy!
that was irritating. You know why? Because it was damage control. And there's a lot of damage control.
Big damage control.
Because why do a crossover with 5, like, massive, events?
So this is a
5
Legends,
TV
this
shows.
is a Legends episode, this one.
I get Legends.
It already sets the bar.
And I don't know why it starts off like...
So it starts with, like, everyone's waking up
Yeah.
to the whole of the new creation of the multiverse. Well, they know it as the multiverse.
Yeah.
And it shows you, like, the real... it starts with Sarah. I mean, not Sarah. It doesn't start with Sarah. It starts with Kara. It starts with Kara. She's on her
She's
Earth.
just fighting or something.
Then she
hears a...
goes back to the DEO. Lex is the leader of the DEO. Whoa. Like, that's cool. Obviously, that's something that's changed.
But tell me, if Oliver recreated the universe, why would he do that? Tell me. Like, he
didn't. I guess he didn't have that power. Lex did somehow.
Oh.
Lex had that power somehow. Because obviously, wake up, Lex has got power. He's like the leader of the DEO.
No one remembers who he is because everyone remembers
only the Paragons.
as
That's
the
another good
icon.
thing. The Paragons only remember what happened previously. Everyone else got a clean slate. They've been wiped.
Yeah.
Their mind's been wiped. And only John Jones, because he's got telekinetic powers, he can bring everyone's thoughts back.
Yeah.
So that's why John is important. He's been going back, and all the important characters of the shows have been given the knowledge again. Otherwise, they would just look brain dead stupid.
Yeah, but
So they've been given.
It kicks off with the Weather Witch. That's the villain.
Yeah, which is a Flash villain.
Yeah, and she's like, have you heard of... And then they're fighting. Sorry, they're fighting, and then they defeat her.
Easily taken over.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Barry comes in and takes.
And then
her
some
out,
guy is like, "Oh, can I get a picture or something of you or something?" And apparently he wrote.
Yeah,
Marv Wolfman. He actually wrote the original Crisis on Infinite Earths.
So
Like
it was a little cameo.
A little cameo.
He was the guy who wrote the comics.
Yeah, I mean, nothing to be
I
excited
wonder if
about, but
he's
it's
standing there
cool.
like, Jesus Christ, what happened? What did you do in my comic book? But no, I'm sure he isn't. But I'm just saying, like,
He'd just probably be happy to put.
oh yeah. So that was a little reference, but then that's where it started. That's when they started to connect the dots. Like, wait, what? You're on my Earth. You're on. So like, obviously predictable. I expected it. They brought all the shows Earths together, which is
Yeah,
I thought was going to happen. We've always thought
but
it was
like
going to happen leading up to
now,
this.
this is what I'm a bit confused of. Is this part of Oliver? Is this Oliver's doing? If he can control and
I'd
can't
say
control things, then why is Lex Luthor in charge of certain things?
I don't know. They don't
If
really
he's president, that means technically he's president.
is he
Oh
president?
no, he's not president. Sorry, he's
like
just
DEO,
yeah, but
DEO.
he's acknowledged by the president, isn't he? Wasn't he just shaking hands or? Oh
I think
no.
he won a Nobel Peace.
Oh
or
yeah, that's what it
something.
was.
They make him look like a real goody two shoes.
Yeah,
Like realistically, it got shaped back, molded to the perfect world Lex wanted it
yeah.
to be.
And I still don't understand Lex's role in all this.
I didn't look that far into it. I didn't think it was like Oliver let it happen. I think it was just they've given the second half of the storyline for Supergirl show. That's basically it.
Yeah.
And I do get it. Like he had all that screen time throughout the crossover of him trying to get power, and he got it. So kind of, I didn't mind that. It's not like it was out of the blue. They've just thrown it in for the sake of it. He'd been working for it. He's been He's been like, you know what I mean. He's been trying to get to that, and he did. So I was like, yeah, cool. And then like they realize that they're on the same Earth.
Yeah.
They all. So Barry and Kara, we're on the same Earth. So then they cut to the bunker. Sarah goes to find, where's Oliver? Where's Oliver? She thinks Oliver's alive as well because everyone's back.
Yeah.
And she can't find Oliver, and she finds Diggle in the bunker.
Yeah.
And
everyone thinks Oliver's alive.
John off screen, John Jones has come and given them all the memories again.
Yeah.
And he's told them all. And then so Diggle, Wild Dog, and Black Canary.
They already kind of got their memory. Apparently.
They've got their memory. They've got the memory, and they've been told that Oliver's dead. And that acting on
John Diggle,
David
David
Ramsey, John Diggle. Once again, felt so bad for him. This whole crossover, such good acting. His tears almost got me tearing. Like it was really.
He's acting throughout every time Oliver's been in like peril.
But you felt
yeah.
it because when he said like the line was like, "He's my brother."
Yeah.
I was like,
And he wasn't
"God
there.
Damn, I wasn't there." And he's like, he died twice, and I wasn't there both times.
Yeah.
He was my brother. Like, I was like, fuck.
Good acting, but I feel honestly again I feel literally like anger at the fact that he wasn't there.
I still felt that. I was annoyed.
Ryan Choi, he was there when Oliver dies, and what John Diggle's not.
Yeah,
That's honestly that's how I see
yeah,
it.
I know. I felt the same. But at that moment, I was like, it's good acting. I feel that. But then like Barry and Kara they come in. They go, well, the bunker's here as well. Like they're trying to confirm that all heroes are on the same Earth.
Yeah.
Which is what they do, and then
They're having champagne.
no, before that,
Oh no!
something happens, and they go,
And
"What's the emergency?"
Diggle. I remember the scene. He
The
goes,
bunker's alarms go off because something's happening.
and Diggle goes, "You wouldn't believe it."
You wouldn't believe it. And then it's bloody Bebo. I honestly, when I watched it, I facepalmed. I slapped my head. I was like, really, Bebo? I get it. It's Legends. Legends love Bebo. But, like, it just didn't feel right. Oliver's just sacrificed his life.
To have Bebo in a finale of a crossover, which I think is just insulting to the Arrow legacy. Like, it's honestly, it angers me. The fact that Bebo, out of all the characters, of all the, like, why is like, oh, you wouldn't believe in Bebo's in? Like, why Bebo out of all people?
The way I see it also, the world's watching this crossover. Because this is this is the TV super show. There's a TV superheroes shows. Big thing. They've just put a bloody big soft toy in the episode. I'm like, you just... I was so annoyed.
But I mean, not to disgrace those really hardcore Bebo fans.
Bebo's good in certain times, and like back in the Legends season finale when they were taking on Dormammu 2.0, the villain. That was alright. It was very odd. I was like, what's going on? But it worked. This was like such a serious point. Diggle's crying about Oliver dying. And then, like, literally 5 minutes later, there's Bebo on the street.
Yeah.
And Barry, they're like, how do we take down this massive, fluffy toy?
It turns out to be this fake...
I was like, you can't go from that much really impactful, like, that deep stuff.
End of world stuff.
And then to, like, that type of comedic humour, I'm like, it didn't work.
I think a lot of... I think what they were thinking when they were writing this is that once all this, really cataclysmic events happens, they need a few, probably about half an hour, 40 minutes to really deal with, okay, this is how it should be with life in this new Earth. Give a bit more context before they all go back to their own shows. Really... And I understand that, but then again, give them about 20 minutes. It's not that hard to string together a good bunch of scenes. And just to go back on part 4 for a second, why wasn't everyone there? We talk about big iconic scenes. We talk about Endgame. We talk about all these and there's a lot of comparisons to Endgame, whether people acknowledge it or not.
Not on the scale.
Not in the scale, but look at all those characters that they've built since 2012. You can't say that there's not that many. I think with all those Legends of Tomorrow characters, the Flash, even if you get like any of the Arrow. I mean, there's probably not many Batwoman. It's probably going to be Batwoman by herself. But I don't know how. You can't have the biggest on screen because we've seen it on screen when that Oliver who was it on Crisis on Earth X?
Yeah, they had the whole team.
They had the whole team.
They had so
but
many.
They had that's the thing. Why couldn't they have that? Why couldn't
they're fighting all the Nazis?
This is, in my opinion, this is not that big. I mean, big with the cameos, but in terms of the lineup against big team versus big team, why couldn't if it was against a war against these shadow creatures? Why couldn't they be a massive group of them? Anyway, they take out this Bebo enthusiast, guy who looks strange.
Well, after all, that wasn't even Bebo.
It was just some random guy with was it a hologram or something? Or no, it wasn't. It was just a.
I forget the villain, but at that point, I didn't.
I kind of. It's not like I lost interest, but I wasn't really.
I was disappointed.
I wasn't stimulated enough to continue watching.
I was when I watched it the first time. Second time, I knew it was coming, so it didn't hurt as much. Still hurt, but
after it, they go.
Yeah, and then after that, like. Oliver died in that bunker. He died again. Diggle's upset. Well,
crying in that bunker. Everyone found out.
They've just defeated a Bebo. They're having champagne in the bunker, and I was just like, to me, that just didn't sit right.
No, it didn't.
They were having champagne and celebrating. I'm like, I get it. They could be celebrating Oliver's life, but then I'm like, I thought you'd be also mourning, and it was just.
I wouldn't think they'd be all happy and cheery, and
like Diggle was sipping on the champagne. I'm like.
You were just angry that your mate had just died, and like for not being there, and all of a sudden and you know what really frustrated me is we go straight onto the fact that the Anti-Monitor is still alive. Why?
After all that.
Why? After bringing him to the justice of creating the universe, Oliver Queen dying, it was not good enough.
Like, he recreated the multiverse. That's what his legacy did.
Yeah.
But didn't finish off the Anti-Monitor.
No, but that to be honest, recreating a multiverse doesn't really do it for me. You know? It just doesn't, like, you should be the man that does it. You think when Iron Man snapped, you think Thanos was going to come back after that in that little 5 minutes, 10 minute scene. But I know it's comparing two different massive scales, but
that's what happens in the comic book. That's how they take him out.
Yeah.
That's how they officially take him out. He becomes really big.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they fight him like that. Which at the point I was like, oh, this doesn't look right. Like it was all right, but when he became massive. Like, all right, so we're cutting to when the Anti-Monitor's back, then they all team up. They all come back because everyone's back. Like literally everyone's fighting again, and they're all in it. They're all fighting, and then the Anti-Monitor becomes massive. He just becomes like a big, slow target to me. He was just like, when he got massive, he was swinging his arms around super slowly.
Yeah.
And he was just hopeless, and he was just getting hit. Superman was hitting him, Supergirl was hitting him. And then once again, I keep saying it, they make Superman look weak. He gets caught, like, Anti-Monitor's crushing him in his hand. Poor Superman's getting crushed.
Yeah.
And Ray comes in and saves him.
That's it. I was trying to think of Ray. Yeah, Ray was.
They were trying to build the technology because then Ryan Choi says we can shrink him into the what do you call it?
It's like honestly, I got Ant-Man vibes when I was watching it.
Yeah,
like,
they even joked about it. They're like, oh, there's copyright issues there.
Yeah,
the microverse. They said microverse.
Oh.
And they're like,
which literally was Quantum Realm. Like that's what it kind of felt like.
They're like, oh, it could have copyright issues there. Which is a bit of fun. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
but like that's where Ryan Choi
fourth wall breaking.
Yeah, I don't mind that, but like that's when Ryan Choi has mentioned all that stuff. And that's what they do. So they're going to shrink him. But, like, Superman's getting crushed. And once again, making him look weak.
Yeah.
And then Ray comes and shrinks him so he can get out.
Yeah.
And then so they shrink the Anti-Monitor. Like, I don't know. It's just... That was
the end?
That's the big boy endgame. That's the big boy endgame fight. Not to be pun intended endgame. Like, with comparison and stuff. But, like, that was their endgame fight. And I was just like...
It didn't feel conclusive. In my opinion, it felt very after all that, it felt very anticlimactic. Yeah,
it was alright. I'm not ripping it to parts, but I was just like, I kind of expected a little bit more. From the
I mean, there's positives and negatives about this crossover. I mean, we could say there's a lot of good cameos. All in all, not the worst story. I've definitely seen worse over television, but I'm just saying there's a lot of things that we feel that probably should have been better, could have been better. Especially Oliver's legacy is what was probably most damaging, especially for those fans who've been watching it for a long time.
Yeah.
And Oliver's Queen's he's always had his ups and downs, but it didn't feel like a conclusive ending to his saga. It didn't really feel like...
Yeah. Like they're going to finish... He had 2 more episodes of Arrow.
Yeah.
So they were going to finish up the ends of Arrow there.
Yeah, sure.
But they also wanted to tie it up a little bit more, and they didn't really. Like they kind of like you just don't know what happened to Oliver. Obviously he's dead, but they don't you just don't know, and that was his legacy. And the ending was good. I didn't mind the ending. Like at that point, I was very annoyed, but like to bring in the Hall of Justice. They didn't say it because obviously probably for legal rights they can't say it.
Yeah.
But they're bringing in.
Oh yeah, that ending
the
scene.
Super Friends.
Yeah. It's basically the Justice
and then they're honouring Oliver with his suit and the arrow, flaming
that was
arrow.
okay. That was alright.
It was a good touch, and I liked it. And then I didn't get we've never seen the president before. Didn't even know the president was a girl. And there's the president. I get it. I get it.
And I like
the
that
Queen
sacrifice.
That was good, but I've never seen you before. I like the whole point of it and the importance of the speech by a president saying that he saved everyone.
Yeah,
and let everyone know that that's what he did.
But again, how did she know? How did she know?
We don't know.
Exactly. If 7 people only knew, then how come she didn't know?
It's CW. It was comic book stuff.
We move on to the end of the crossover, and again, there are more cameos, like a lot more cameos than we had originally thought. Starts off with Stargirl on Earth 2.
So Oliver narrates. He comes back and narrates the start, like the Antimon did on episode 1. He narrated the multiverse, the
Yeah,
explanation.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
Oliver's turn. I liked it.
Okay, yeah.
So it was Oliver. He
Endings.
was narrating the multiverse, and he was saying how there was once a single black hole, and then the multiverse was created because he created it. That's what was a little bit more meaning to it. Like he actually created this one, so that's why he's narrating this one.
Yeah.
That's why I interpreted.
Yeah,
it.
no, I don't mind that. I don't mind
And
that.
then that's when they started referencing. They showed Earth 1 was it was Earth Prime.
Yeah.
Earth Prime is the first, like the CW
Yeah.
Earth, really. Arrowverse Earth. It's just they put it all in one.
But bringing Stargirl in, that was just
Well,
a little
that's
teaser.
Earth 2.
But that was a little teaser of the show that's coming out, Stargirl.
Earth 2.
Yeah. So, and then we move on to Earth 12, Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern. I thought that was unreal. Like,
Massive.
not in a way that it was like amazing or wow, but like in the fact that they acknowledge that it's there. Like, it's cool to see, there's a Green Lantern, because one thing that we didn't get this crossover is a Green Lantern. We haven't got a Green Lantern
I'm
since.
saying a lot of John Diggle in this.
Yeah.
I must think that I love John Diggle. He's a good actor, but I'm saying, like, they've referenced him so much for John Diggle, he never got it. So there's to see that, and I was like,
No, it was just
still cool.
yeah.
But
And then we see I've never watched it. Swamp Thing, Earth 19.
yeah. Got cancelled.
Although I only got one season, it's cool to see him.
Just sitting there alone by himself. Looked sad.
Yep. And then we see Earth 9's Raven.
Yeah, so that was the same. It's like they did at the start. They cameoed the Titans Earth. It was Earth 9. It still is Earth 9 again. So that was
we
alright.
see Robin, and then we see Hawk and Dove, and even Starfire all appeared on part 5.
They're back.
And then the last cameo, second to last cameo was the Earth 21, the Doom Patrol.
I was so confused. I thought they were the same Earth, but now I've understood now they're different Earths.
Yeah, I thought they would they had that same type
Because they were
of vibe.
both from... No, but I thought they... this is going off track, because this is talking about their shows now.
Oh, because of Doom Patrol, the way that... But they changed the actors, remember? Or some actors stayed.
It's very confusing.
Yeah, it is very
Basically, yeah, another Earth. Cool. It's cool.
And then the last cameo was the actual Brandon Ruth's Superman. His actual Superman returns. And he looks at the screen. I thought that was a bit... Like, fourth wall breaking.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
He had his yellow... He had the yellow...
Yeah,
in the
the
badge.
whole entire... The hair was
like
fine.
his- yeah.
He looked young. Didn't look like
good.
he had aged at all.
Cool.
But, I mean, that concludes our...
That was it. Like, overall...
What would you say out of 10? What would you say your rating?
I'd say...
In terms of, like, I'd probably say, my opinion, about 7.2. If I was to give, like, a very definitive, answer, I'd probably say...
It had a few cons, and they were heavy cons. Like, it hurt. Some of them.
Yeah.
But it did... Like, the cameos helped, but didn't mend. Like, they're not Band-Aids for cuts, like, that they've fixed.
Exactly. That's very true. That's probably the best way to put it.
I'd probably say, like, 7.5. That's being generous, though.
Yeah.
Because it was good action, but when you look further in,
Yeah.
it's got problems. And it had problems. It was good, it had stuff, but...
I think if you really watch it, you can appreciate some things.
Second watch was better.
Yeah.
One, I knew what was coming. It didn't hurt as much. And I could not stress out as much. I could enjoy it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Second watch was better than first watch. It wasn't bad. It could have been better. The writing definitely could have been better.
Yeah.
Cameos, I love the cameos. But I think my vent, is that, like, the CW banked too much on the cameos being a hit over other things. Like, they kind of just like, it's alright, we've got good cameos, this stuff is alright, we can let this get through.
Yeah.
If the cameos are popping off and people froth it, which is what they did. They frothed they loved Ezra Miller.
That's the thing. I think it was the definition of fan service, and it was fast. It was ongoing, but I think everyone really appreciated how it all came together. I think that's the main thing we can really take about this crossover. But yeah, I think that's really it.
We've vented for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can sit here and talk about it for even more.
Oh, I could
but,
break it down even more, but that was just going chronologically, summing it up. I don't know, that was good.
Yeah, I think I think one thing to take away from this crossover is like how do we go from this?
That's what I thought as well. How do you
Make this bigger?
that?
If you think end of the,
I don't think they'll go bigger.
multiverse.
I think they'll just do different.
Yeah, and I think they'll go different, but they have to go smaller, wouldn't they? I mean, you think they would go smaller. I mean, they have. You can't do. How are you going to make that? Every time they go on a bigger scale, and I felt like this one they have to do it a bit. You know, the next one that they do, because Flash will be the forefront of it, surely.
Yeah.
Because he's not destined to die. All that stuff of him vanishing, gone. And that felt to me that hurt a little as well, because his Flash, like his line of ending was that was it. Like he was supposed to destined to be dead.
The whole storyline of this season was he's going to die. And he had to prepare for it.
That's been since the first episode of Flash. That's been going on.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like
we could talk about that for ages.
Just real quick, like that was what we've seen. Like the newspaper article, Flash vanishes in crisis. He never did.
No.
So unless we never know, they could help. Like they could change it up.
Unless like it was clear that Oliver Queen's sacrifice to the Anti-Monitor was like a definitive proof that okay, they don't need to sacrifice themselves, and same as Kara as well or whatever. That because he did it for them, and he has that scene with the Monitor multiple times, even in this crossover, and he's like, yeah, just reassurance of he's happy to sacrifice or do this for them, and he did that twice. And I thought it was weird. I thought he was going to be one and done. Like, if he's going to sacrifice himself, he'd sacrifice himself and that's it. And that's why, like, the Monitor said, you need to do it. You need to sacrifice yourself. You need to die. And it took away from that crossover, I felt.
Yeah.
It's him dying twice, took it away. Felt like if you're going to do one death, you have it once and that's it. Unless you're going to do another build-up, don't. I felt like there wasn't enough plot points for someone who just watches the show, doesn't read comic books. I'm not. I watch DC, shows and stuff, but I don't know Spectre.
Yeah.
And I could give you a few things about it, but in my opinion, I'm not the most knowledgeable in terms of how it's supposed to go, how it's written.
Oh yeah.
But anyway.
Well, yeah, that's been the first Venting Views podcast, eh?
Yep.
Hopefully, if anyone actually listens, it was all right, not too long. But if you want to hear more from us, well, tune in, yeah?
Yep.
See you later. 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 See you later.